Chapter 261, Bibi Dong. I brought the dog emperor's head. Mom! Mama! Mama! When the beautiful woman appeared at Taoyuan Academy, the little girl in Su Ran's arms turned her head and a delighted smile instantly bloomed on her face. She flapped her tiny hands and called out in a high, milk-soft voice. The woman didn't speak. She simply watched the immortal-like young man holding their daughter, a faint smile on her exquisite face, as if the bloody battle the Academy had just endured had never happened, and only the three of them existed in the world. Su Ran looked a little bashful. A short separation had indeed made his heart grow fonder, and asked, "Are you all right?" "I'm fine. How are you?" "I'm fine too, but the Academy, it didn't fare well." "I know. Even though the Supreme Pontiff Palace has separated from Spirit Hall, some of the intelligence forces stationed in the Star Luo Empire still answer to me. Not long ago, an intelligent spirit master noticed the Star Luo army secretly mobilizing. At first, I thought Star Luo planned to ambush the Heaven Do Empire during the Soul Master Competition's unveiling ceremony, when everyone would be off guard and start a war. But I used Ye Lingling's soul capture technique to probe the Star Luo Emperor and learned their true objective, so I rushed back immediately. The Soul Master Competition unveiling ceremony was a major event where the two great empires and Spirit Hall confirmed the timing and location of the competition. It was also meant to demonstrate peaceful relations between the Heaven Do Empire and the Star Luo Empire, so leading figures from across the continent, including emperors, attended. Bibi Dong had learned a little of the soul capture technique over the past 2 years. Growing bored with raising her child at the academy and getting closer to some students, she had sought Ye Lingling's tutelage. She'd picked up enough to avoid being deceived, and apparently enough to probe an emperor. "Donger, what are you carrying in your hand?" Su Ran asked. "Little Jinli is here. It's not good to say." "I've covered her ears. Speak." Su Ran held Jinli to his chest. Jinli liked his scent and happily buried her face against him. Bibi Dong answered lightly, "2 heads." "Whose?" "The dog emperor's and his lackeys." She landed and opened her bag. 2 bloody heads tumbled out, the Star Luo Emperors and the Star Luo Grand Marshals. I thought bringing their heads back would deter the Star Luo army. I planned to kill Shui Ye too, but I worried it would delay rescuing everyone, so I let him go. But it looks like I was still late. Thankfully, you came back too. You won't blame me, will you?" Bibi Dong asked uncertainly, hunting for approval. Su Ran stared at the Emperor's head on the ground, then smiled faintly. "You did what I wanted done." "So, do you think I killed them properly?" she pressed. The Academy is safe now. Shuye deserves to die too. I'll go finish him. Come back. Leave the rest to me." Su Ran stroked Jinli's head and said quietly, "What do you plan to do next? Repair the Academy first, or go to Heaven Do City and Star Luo City to make a stand? I can help with either. Don't forget, I'm still an auxiliary teacher at the Academy." "There will be no negotiations this time," Bibi Dong said. "Leaving hope and power in other people's hands always ends in disaster. I want the people here to truly live well. It won't be easy, but I want to try." "Teacher Su." "That's right. If the Heaven Do Empire is willing to abandon this city, then I'll found a new nation on this land. This nation may not have me as its ruler, and not all my students will be leaders, but I want it to be united with the Academy, to be loved by its people. Even those who aren't spirit masters, the disabled, the orphans, will have hope and state protection. It will belong to the people, and the people will never again be abandoned." Su Ran had decided, though he felt the weight of his inexperience. He'd taught a few disciples, but had never founded a country or governed a land. "Will you help me?" he asked Bibi Dong. She stepped in front of the immortal-like young man, took his hand, and smiled brilliantly. "You know that has always been my dream." A few hours later, the Star Luo army outside Taoyuan Academy had been mostly annihilated. Most of their soldiers lay dead. Blood stained the earth of Soto City and darkened the nearby rivers. From hiding spots in the surrounding buildings, Flender and Zhao Wuji finally dared to show themselves. They looked at the carnage in stunned silence. This was the worst defeat they had ever seen. They mourned the dead and felt a grim relief. If they had joined the attack on Taoyuan Academy, they might have been among the corpses. Their shops were looted and wrecked. The The peach blossom honey and supplies were gone. The shrewd Flender dragged Zhao Wuji to search the bodies on the ruined battlefield, hunting for spirit power coins to recoup losses, or perhaps to get rich quick. Zhu Zhuqing, Zhu Zhuyun, Mu Yunju, Wang Sheng, and other students who had defended the academy returned under the scorching sun. Though they had repelled the 300,000-strong Star Luo army, they did not smile. War was a cruel thing. The emperor treated common people like pawns. Many were killed, and the defenders had been forced to kill in turn. The academy had barely survived. They'd been reborn through blood, their spirit power increased by several grades in the life-or-death struggle, but there was no joy in victory. As the disciples passed, Flender and Zhao Wuji were tugging at the waistband of a dead soldier studded with a gold buckle, offering an awkward grin. "Esteemed spirit masters, good citizens, we're on your side. We thought the academy might be short-handed, so we promise all spoils will be handed over to the school." Flender saluted Zhu Zhuqing. Once he had been a dean of the academy, now he had to flatter a mere student. The tables had quite literally turned. Zhu Zhuqing, Zhu Zhuyun, and Wang Sheng barely glanced at them, then walked into the academy. Inside the main hall, they bowed as one to teacher Su Ran. "Your disciples are incompetent and failed to protect the academy." Chapter 262, Counterattack Deployment, the Counter-Offensive from Taoyuan Academy Ring. Buzz. The wind stirred the peach blossom bells as the setting sun washed the courtyard in red. The gentle chiming that usually signaled study and ease now sounded heavy and hollow. Blood smudged the ground where students had fallen. "Get up. This is not your fault. If anyone is to blame, it's me," Su Ran said, his voice low and steady. "You were out in the open while the villains hid. Hidden arrows are always hard to guard against. I failed to foresee the cruelty of men," he went on. "Fortunately, you're all still alive." He helped each wounded disciple to their feet. Every one of them had been badly hurt. Only their lives and a little recovery from the Nine-Heart Sea Hall's healing kept them moving. Seeing their determination to protect the academy, Su Ran felt both proud and pained. He wanted to tell them that the academy could be rebuilt, that their lives meant more than any building or garden, but he swallowed the words. These students had poured their hearts into defending Taoyuan. To undermine that would be to undo them. So he offered what he could instead. "You all did well," he said, giving them a thumbs up. "Yes," they murmured, an exhausted chorus. "If there's blame to be laid, it's not on Dean Su or these children. It's on me, this old poison." Dugubo stepped forward, shame and anger warring in his face. "I caught Tang Hao trying to steal plants once and stopped him, but he escaped and was injured. I didn't expect him to team up with the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan and the Star Luo royal family to start such a war. If I'd been stronger, if I'd dealt with him then, maybe none of this would have happened." "Enough," Su Ran cut in, his tone cool. "What's done is done. Don't fall over yourselves with guilt." "But we can't relax." He lifted his head and his gaze sharpened. "We only managed to rout the Star Luo Empire's 300,000-strong force. The Star Luo still has combat strength. The Clear Sky Sect and the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan have not yet committed everything. We can't stay on the defensive anymore. We must take the initiative. We will counterattack until the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan and the Clear Sky Sect are annihilated and the Star Luo Empire loses its ability to fight." His words struck like a bell. Faces that had been pale with pain lit up with resolve. Dugubo, Yueguan, the others. Su Ran had decided. "Dean Su is right," Dugubo said immediately, the old fury returning. "This victory was nearly a disaster. We must show strength. Let anyone who thinks to bully Taoyuan Academy know we won't be cowed. We'll make them pay dearly." "Zhu Qing, Zhu Zhuyun, listen to my orders," Su Ran called. "Disciple here," they answered. "You are from the Star Luo nobility. You know the empire better than we do. Take my killing weapon and lead Wang Sheng, Xiao Chenyu, Mu Yunju, Mu Yunteng, Zhu Zhuyu, and Yao Zi to Vast Sea City at once. Meet Shui Binger, Dugu Yan, and the others there. Annihilate the Star Luo's 200,000 ambush troops. Then coordinate with the Supreme Pontiff Palace's Spirit Master team and strike at the Star Luo royal family, destroy the Dai lineage, and change the world." Yes! The command galvanized everyone. A small academy daring to launch such an offensive, who else but Taoyuan would risk it? Bibi Dong, Elder Zhu, Suran continued. Yuanzhen of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan is dead and no longer a threat. I need you to handle the remainder. Bibi Dong nodded. Leave it to us. Xiaowu, go to Slaughter City. Call back Rongrong, Lingling, and Nana. Then, together with Elder Poison, go to Heaven Dew City and negotiate with the Tiando royal family, secure territory and grain for the academy. Xiaowu, who had just found her mother in the back mountain, held the little white rabbit and nodded vigorously. Teacher, I'll go now. Teacher Su, what about me? What can I do? Liu Erlong asked, anxious. She had long felt invisible among the Peach Garden disciples, but wanted to help. Su Ran looked at her thoughtfully. With a subtle motion, his fingertip brushed her brow. The golden hoop on her head flickered, shed tiny sparks of light, and slowly loosened. He removed it entirely. Young Koi is still very young and needs someone reliable to watch over her, Su Ran said. You've kept the academy clean for years. I trust you. Stay here and care for little Koi when Donger isn't around. Liu Erlong's eyes widened. But that golden hoop, it may have tormented you before, but it's also a rare treasure, Su Ran continued. I'll teach you the incantation and how to use it. This Vajra righteous heart hoop discerns the human heart, restrains desire, and is a top-tier defensive artifact. It can withstand a fatal blow from a super Douluo. He imparted a surge of sacred thought and the Sanskrit chants into Liu Erlong's mind. Tears sprang to her eyes at the trust in his voice. I will take care of the academy and protect the little dean, she whispered, touching the child beside her with fierce tenderness. The child, emotionally sensitive beyond her years, reached up and patted Liu Erlong's cheek in a small, consoling gesture. Liu Erlong wiped her tears and managed a smile. Auntie's not crying. Little Koi is. Dean Su, what about the Clear Sky sect? Yu Guan said, noticing a gap in the plan. The Star Luo Empire, the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan, and the Tiando royal family all have people assigned. Who's dealing with the Clear Sky sect? They're dangerous. I'll go, Yu Guan said at once. Su Ran nodded. He had already used soul-searching on Tang Hao's memories to find the Clear Sky sect's hidden base. With Tang Chen, Tang Hao, and Tang Xiao gone, only the 4 affiliated sects and a ragged fragment of the Clear Sky sect remained. It wouldn't take long. Why must teacher go in person? Yu Guan asked, surprised. Don't forget Spirit Hall, Su Ran replied. Our Spirit Hall and the Clear Sky sect have long-standing grudges, Yu Guan said. It's time to settle them, and we can help the academy in the process. Outside the academy, a golden-clad figure descended slowly and asked permission to speak. Shuer, you're here too? Su Ran smiled faintly when he saw her. Qian Renxue alighted like a statue of light, her smile delicate and composed. She glanced at Bibi Dong. I would not miss the Spirit Master competition, she said. How could I pass up the chance to witness the grace of teacher and my junior sisters? After I learned you had severed the Star Luo Emperor's head and were rushing to the academy, I felt something big was coming. So it proved. Chapter 263. Nuclear bomb destroys Clear Sky sect, asking the Heaven Dew Emperor to abdicate. Spirit Hall, Jiang Mo, respectfully following Dean Su's orders. Spirit Hall, Chanjun, has arrived to assist Peach Garden and awaits Dean Su's command. Behind Qian Renxue, 2 other offerings from Spirit Hall accompanied her, all cupping their hands in salute to Su Ran. Guy Mei had also mobilized his subordinates from the Supreme Pontiff Palace, gathering outside Taoyuan Academy, ready to be dispatched at a moment's notice. Su Ran was slightly surprised that even Spirit Hall's offerings were willing to appear with Qian Renxue. He returned their salute with a quiet, thank you. Qian Renxue, having gathered herself, looked down at the little Koi and couldn't resist teasing it. Little girl, call me Big Sister. Mama, the Koi replied. Call me Big Sister. I'm your big sister. Wama. Following Su Ran's orders, the 200,000-strong Star Luo army stationed in the Western Sea was soon wiped out by Shui Binger, Shui Yuer, Du Guyan, and the others. With Su Ran's personal permission, Du Guyan unleashed her poison of misfortune on a large scale for the first time, revealing its true horror. Du Guyan had truly absorbed Su Ran's teachings. Though her spirit rank was slightly lower, the quality of her venom surpassed even her grandfather Du Gubo's. More terrifying than Bilin snake venom, the poison of misfortune could transmit directly from person to person, once it reached the high-grade, seven-colored, seven-flower level. A single drop among troops meant that if one person was infected, hundreds or thousands would follow, spreading through blood and breath until the toxin assimilated completely. Duguyan alone annihilated 3 to 4/10 of the Star Luo army. From that moment, the Dugu family's descendants would be spoken of as masters of war. With one of them alone, the world could be put at peace. That night, the Peach Garden disciples traveled 1,000 li and attacked Star Luo City. Before Duguyan, Zhu Zhuqing, and others could turn it into a slaughterhouse, the Star Luo nobles began infighting. One faction sent the White Tiger Dai clan to the guillotine. The royal family was reshuffled into chaos. The kingdom splintered without a monarch. Yue Guan and Gui Mei led Spirit Hall masters and Taoyuan students into the Yu clan's territory, tore down the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan's ancestral plaque, annihilated its direct line, and disbanded the cadet branches. One of the upper three sects, the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan, met its end. Qian Renxue with Jiang Mo and Qian Jun tracked the Clear Sky sect to its hidden sanctuary. They blasted open the stone gate with a spirit tool explosive and hurled in the concentrated nuclear bomb Suran had provided. Following Suran's precise instructions, Qian Renxue turned and fled at top speed the instant it was thrown, racing 10 li away. Even so, a terrifying heat wave struck them. Qian Renxue, adept at flight, could barely keep her footing and was forced to retreat. Within several thousand meters of the explosion's center, a fiery red light erupted. A towering fireball rose and formed a mushroom cloud. The land beneath it was turned to ash, the surrounding jungle blackened to charcoal. Half a day later, Qian Renxue led her Spirit Hall team to survey the scene. At first, she expected to find many corpses, yet the center of the blast had almost no intact bodies. For a moment, she feared they had struck the wrong target and that the Clear Sky sect had escaped. Then she saw the human-shaped white silhouettes imprinted on stones, on the floor, and among the ruins, outlines left because the bodies had blocked the searing light. The explosion's power had literally vaporized the physical bodies of lower-rank spirit masters into dust. Their shapes remained as bleached impressions against the scorched surroundings. The sight chilled Qianjun and Jiang Mo. If Suran's disciples possessed such a weapon, they would hardly need other reinforcements. Tossing a few of these devices into an army could wipe out 100,000 men in an instant. A 500,000-strong force would be rendered meaningless. The devastation was beyond imagination. When Qian Renxue asked Suran later why he had not shared this device to protect the academy, he explained the reasons. Manufacturing such a nuclear bomb was extraordinarily difficult and precise, so much so that even Meng Yiran had not learned it. When it detonated, its force surpassed even a Super Douluo's full-power strike. Most importantly, any detonation rendered the blast site uninhabitable for decades. Unless absolutely necessary, using such a weapon in a city would be monstrous, a wanton slaughter of innocents. Word of the annihilation of the 500,000-strong Star Luo army and the fall of the royal spread like wildfire across the continent. Tales sprang up in tea houses and taverns, retold and embroidered by storytellers until they were woven into a tragic ballad. Alas, autumn sorrow breaks, both sides suffer, maddened by infatuations and bitter grudges. Because of Star Luo's hatreds, calamity came, 10,000 lie stained with blood, innocent grievances left unavenged. If not for the Peach Garden sword that corrected the world, all would have perished. From then on, evil cleared from the mortal realm, a path to life opened, and peach blossoms bloomed. Families reunite in prosperous city. 100 li of rivers and mountains belong to Peach Garden. Auspiciousness descends. Star Luo is gone. In the Heaven Do Empire, Emperor Shuye summoned the best messenger to report the news. After hearing intelligence from the Balak kingdom, he sagged on his imperial throne. Nearby, his son Shui Beng wore a defiant smile. He had also heard of the recent upheavals. Father Emperor, isn't this to our advantage? Hundreds of thousands of Star Luo soldiers are dead. Their national strength is depleted. This is the Heaven Do Empire's chance to unify the continent, Shu Beng said boldly. I volunteer to lead 50,000 troops as vanguard to march south and conquer Star Luo. I shall not return until 10 cities have fallen. He cupped his hands and knelt, beseeching permission. Shuye glared, then kicked his son to the floor. Fool, Heaven Do can barely protect itself. How could we wage war? By the end of his words, the emperor had grown limp. That Taoyuan Academy, with only a few spirit masters, withstood hundreds of thousands from the Star Luo Empire and the encirclement from the Clear Sky sect and the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan, two of the upper three sects. They even brazenly assassinated monarchs and wiped out clans. They have become an existence no less formidable than Spirit Hall. If they turned against Heaven Do, I cannot imagine the consequences. Shuiye trembled. Worse still, the Supreme Pontiff, the madwoman who had cut off the Star Luo Emperor's head, was now aiding Taoyuan Academy. In the face of absolute force, imperial mandate meant nothing. At that moment, Ning Rongrong's voice echoed through the Heaven Do Grand Hall, cool and resolute. A Taoyuan student, the sect master of the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School, has come to present a national petition. She paused, then proclaimed, I request Emperor Shuiye to abdicate and relinquish the throne, and I petition that the Balak Kingdom be partitioned into independent states. We're alive. We're all alive. Haha. Is that funny? I'm alive, but my parents are gone. My parents are alive, but my father's leg was crushed, and my mother, she lost her mind. My fiancé was tortured to death by those beasts from Star Luo. I will never coexist with Star Luo. I'm going to train hard and go to Star Luo and kill some people. All our grain was ruined and our spirit coins stolen. I don't know how we'll survive or how we'll get through the winter. The great battle for Soto City had ended and the academy and town were saved, but the damage and the grief lingered in every heart. People searched the ruins for loved ones and buried the dead. Many were helpless, many terrified of what came next. Some simply lost the will to live. Children roamed the streets, orphaned and crying. Within 3 days, almost every street was draped in white shrouds and every house hung mourning couplets. A pall of sorrow lay over Soto City. When the Tianshui Academy teachers stepped into Soto City in their uniforms, their faces showed the same stunned disbelief. Dean Leng Qishuang looked out at the ruined, deserted marketplace and remembered coming here a few years before to curry favor with Teacher Su. Soto City had once been prosperous, one of the largest cities after Heaven Do and Star Luo. Now it was wrapped in mourning cloth, stalls and shops gone. Han, distribute these to the refugees, Leng Qishuang said. Leng Yuahan glanced at the load. All of them. These were meant for Peach Garden Academy. All of them. I think Dean Su would support this, Leng Qishuang replied. A flicker of pity softened her cold face. Not even the flood and beast tide that had struck Tianshui City had caused this scale of devastation. This is excessive. The Star Luo Empire has no humanity, someone nearby hissed. On another street, a woman in a blazing red dress led a lost child to safety and stamped her foot angrily. Such a great empire, and they strike an academy, a tolerant, benevolent Peach Garden Academy, with such savagery. They killed innocents and turned this once fine city into ruins. When I get back to Blazing Academy, I'll report this to the dean. From now on, Blazing Academy will not accept students from the Star Luo Empire, especially not from military families. We don't need a bunch of future tyrants. All right, Xiao Wu, being angry won't solve anything. We need to think about food. That's what the people here need now, Huo Wushuang said helplessly to his hot-tempered younger sister. Huo Wu, clutching 2 large white steamed buns, pouted. The Heaven Do Empire really does nothing. Soto City suffered a disaster, and they're not sending a rescue team. Eh? A food system spirit master? A voice interrupted. Isn't that the guy from the Spirit Master competition? From the Heaven Do Royal Academy's team? The Shrek team? I think his name was Oscar. Huo Wu turned and squinted toward a corner of the square. A modest-looking young man pushed a crude wooden cart piled with steaming sausages, handing them out to a cluster of ragged children. Brother Oscar, I want the pepper one. I want the tomato one. I used to like my mom's tomato and egg dish. Where is she? Brother Oscar, can I always follow you? I want to keep eating your big sausages. Of course you can, but brother's sausages are limited. You can't eat them whenever you like. Okay, everyone. Sausages sold out for today. Come back tomorrow. Gurgle, gurgle. Big sausage, brother. My mom hasn't eaten all day. Can I have another one? All right, but this is the last one. Oscar's voice had a tired edge. He'd nearly exhausted the last of his spirit power. He murmured the incantation. "I have a big sausage," and a steaming sausage appeared in his hand. He gave it to the hungry child, whose face lit up. "Mom can eat too. Mom can eat Brother Oscar's sausage." "I didn't expect any good in the Shrek team, but this boy," Huo Wushuang murmured. Many academies had despised the Shrek team, a hypocritical showman, two shameless lechers, and tangled affiliations that led some to be hunted or ruined. Oscar had seemed insignificant then, a food systems spirit master no one took seriously. But a food spirit master was invaluable now. One sausage could save a life. Oscar rubbed his head, eyes dim. "I'm just a food system spirit master. I have no combat strength. They never took me seriously. I was an orphan, too. I know how they feel." He looked at the children and sighed. "But my power is low. I can only help a little, bit by bit." "That's already amazing," Huowu said admiringly and thumped him lightly on the shoulder. "You have my approval. From now on, you're my friend." Oscar blinked, surprised. "Friend?" "Yeah." He had been alone since Shrek Academy fell apart. He had nowhere else to go and had come back to Soto City, cultivating while selling sausages to earn his keep. He hadn't expected the city to be pulled into war again. The plight of Peach Garden Academy had drawn sympathy and concern across the continent. Many forces condemned the Heaven Do Empire for abandoning Soto City and the Star Luo Empire for preying on the weak. Tianshui Academy and Blazing Academy sent aid. Ning Fengji of the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School personally escorted Chen Xin and Gu Rong to Peach Garden Academy to provide support. The Alien Beast Academy, the Plant Academy, and others sent representatives to assess the situation and help. Carriages bearing peach blossom banners rolled into Soto City, drawing the weary citizens like a beacon. The banners made them feel a measure of security. People trailed behind the carriages, hopeful. One carriage door opened, and Ning Rongrong stepped out. She climbed to a raised spot in the city square and spoke firmly. "I am Ning Rongrong of Peach Garden Academy. First, on behalf of the Academy, I apologize to the citizens of Soto City. It was our presence here that drew this disaster, and we failed to protect your peace. The Academy has traveled south to Star Luo and north to Heaven Do. We have brought back supplies and reconstruction funds for Soto City and other affected towns, which will be distributed shortly. Finally, by the teacher's order, I must announce the most important matter. The Heaven Do Empire abandoned Soto City, allowing it to fall into this state. To give Soto City and the surrounding regions the ability to defend themselves, we have secured local autonomy to establish a new independent authority. At the same time, Peach Garden Academy will open the people's classroom. Every citizen who wants this land to become better has the right to attend and participate." Chapter 265, Teacher Makes a Public Appearance. Peach Garden Academy is starting classes? I heard Peach Garden used to be so strict it turned away princes. Are they really doing public lectures now? Are you going to attend? As Ning Rongrong announced the news in Soto City's Grand Plaza, wagon after wagon rolled in loaded with relief supplies. These provisions had been secured by Peach Garden Academy through friendly negotiations with Emperor Shuiye and drawn from the national treasury. Enough rice and wheat to feed millions for half a year, dozens of carts of meat, and a large sum of gold and silver to compensate the victims' families. The Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School's aid teams followed closely behind. In fact, their auction houses in the surrounding cities had already begun relief efforts on the first day after the war, which helped calm refugees and prevented further riots. Beyond the Heaven Do Empires and the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School's donations, Shui Binger, Shui Yuer, and Zhu Zhuqing had also tapped into the Star Luo Empire's coffers, demanding reparations from the defeated state. Grain and treasure arrived in such quantities that transport wagons formed an endless line from Star Luo City to Soto City. The Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School set up multiple relief points inside Soto City to distribute food, and post-war reconstruction was already underway. As refugees ate hot meat porridge, they talked about Peach Garden Academy's announced public lectures, and about another, newly dawning reality they were only now beginning to understand. A middle-aged man in tattered clothes, spooning porridge and sipping wine, interjected into the murmuring crowd. "That woman from the Seven Treasure School, What did she mean by saying we've secured independent autonomy here? We're independent? Someone asked. I'm from Balak City, a volunteer answered. Word is, they've already started a purge. Emperor Shuiye personally welcomed the king of Balak back. It looks like the whole Balak kingdom might be changing hands. No way. Would the king of Balak willingly give up his throne? No matter how generous Shuiye is, living under Heaven Do is not the same as being king. That may be, but Peach Garden Academy just obliterated 500,000 Star Luo soldiers. The vast Star Luo Empire is collapsing, their imperial family thrown into chaos. The king of Balak can't risk playing for power right now. Peach Garden Academy is incredible. If not for those students, if we'd fallen under Star Luo control, we'd have been killed or turned into slaves. And that endless swirl of peach blossoms, that must be Peach Garden's teacher, right? I saw him for the first time. He was like an immortal, calm and majestic, cutting through the army by himself. When I was desperate, a peach blossom fell beside me. It warmed me. It gave me hope. If Soto City is going to be independent, what will we be called? Who will rule us? As the refugees discussed, a faint hope and a sense of purpose began to take hold. Those are questions Teacher Su will answer tomorrow. Xiao Wu called out as she moved through the crowd, distributing porridge. The next morning, tens of thousands of Soto City residents packed the open ground in front of Peach Garden Academy. Clearing the battlefield had taken days. The dead had numbered in the hundreds of thousands, and disposal had been grim and difficult. Some bodies were taken by scavenging animals, others fed to nearby spirit beasts. Even under the pervasive scent of peach blossoms, a faint trace of lingering qi still hung in the air. Nobles from across the region had sent representatives or came in person. Family heads stood with other citizens. Peach Garden Academy had become the focus of everyone's hopes. Representatives from other Spirit Master Academies and forces had come as well, to offer condolences or to receive invitations. Feng Xiaoqian of Shenfeng Academy arrived with his team and approached Blazing Academy's group. Huo Wu, Huo Wushuang, Oscar, and others were at the front of the crowd, waiting for the lecture to begin. I wanted to be Teacher Su's disciple once, but I couldn't, Feng Xiaotian said, smiling as he looked toward the academy. After Peach Garden experienced this war, I'm lucky to attend his public lecture. Maybe we can be considered his students now? Huo Wu glanced sideways. You're already a probationary instructor at Shenfeng Academy. Feng scratched his head. It's not that I didn't want to join Peach Garden. It's just that the courses we need aren't at Shenfeng anymore, so I had to take a teaching post. If I'd been bolder and joined the Tianshui students back then, maybe I'd be wearing a peach blossom badge now. He looked enviously at Xiao Wu and Ning Rongrong, standing at the academy entrance in peach garden uniforms, peach-patterned emblems pinned to their chests and peach blossom tokens at their waists. Oscar nodded in agreement. Huo Wu, however, was uncharacteristically quiet. Feuds ran deep. In past Spirit Master contests, Blazing Academy had been overshadowed by Tianshui Academy, and Huo Wu still carried grudges against Shui Binger and her friends. Now Shui Binger and the others were reportedly over level 70, a gulf of more than 10 or 20 levels from Huo Wu, who was still in her 50s. Nearby, Shui Ke and Tang Yuehua, wrapped in golden-red phoenix robes, stood with downcast faces. They had no desire to face the senior sisters of Peach Garden Academy. Grief for their empire and for their families sat heavy on them. What will Teacher Su do? Shui Ke wondered aloud. I think it concerns the future of the Soto City region, Tang Yuehua said. Only those who lived through slaughter know how vital autonomy is. If Soto becomes independent, it will need a leader. Who is fit to found a new state? That's something to consider. Shui Ke clenched her small fists, disappointed in her elderly father. Tang Yuehua's emotions were tangled. She was angry at the Clear Sky sect and Star Luo for instigating the war, heartbroken at the loss they'd suffered, unable to hate Peach Garden Academy, and yet unable to forgive the destruction of her clan. Watched by thousands, a gentle breeze stirred. Countless peach blossoms drifted down, lifting the crowd's spirits. All eyes converged on the youth who appeared at the academy gate. Suran stepped out, each of his steps seeming to leave a fallen blossom behind, and he rose slowly to a platform. Looking out over the assembled people, he spoke in a calm, clear voice. I am deeply sorry for the disaster that fell on Soto City. Peach Garden Academy bears responsibility. He bowed deeply toward the city and its people. My name is Su Ran, Dean of Peach Garden Academy. I apologize to everyone in the Soto City region who suffered in the war. My students have worked to arrange compensation, he continued. Each living person will receive 100 gold coins. For every deceased, 1,000 gold coins will be given to their family. Monthly living allowances will be provided for the disabled. These payments will be distributed to each household according to the census. Compensation can only offer limited solace. It cannot undo the loss of those who are gone. We must act to prevent such tragedies from happening again. That is why I have called this public lecture, to openly discuss the future defense and governance of the Soto City region with all of you. Thank you for coming. 266. Build a Taoyuan area and activate the path of faith. This isn't Taoyuan Academy's fault. This is the Douluo Empire's brutality, and the Heaven Do Empire abandoned us. They can't be trusted. Taoyuan Academy is a victim too. If both are victims, how can we blame them? If Teacher Su hadn't intervened in time, we'd all have been cut down by the Douluo army that day. Taoyuan Academy did nothing wrong. Teacher Su did nothing wrong. The ones at fault are the cruel, rotten rulers. Exactly. It wasn't the spirit masters of Taoyuan Academy who slaughtered innocent people. It's the empire that rules with no bottom line, conquest and oppression. When the ethereal figure, like a banished immortal, humbled himself before everyone, the crowd's awe snapped back into tension. What kind of person was he? Facing 300,000 Douluo soldiers, he had stood tall and unbowed. Facing the titled Douluo of the Clear Sky sect and the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan, he had dispatched them with a wave of his hand without a frown. Yet here, before ordinary people with no spirit power, at the mercy of nobles and scraping by at the bottom of society, he bowed and apologized. Every citizen of Soto City knew that this banished immortal youth standing amid the peach blossoms had the power to wipe them all out, yet he treated them as equals. As someone from the crowd began to speak up for Taoyuan Academy, the masses erupted. No one blamed the academy. Hatred was reserved for the Douluo Empire and the Heaven Do Empire. Please, Dean Su, lead us to build a new nation. We'll be your subjects. Peach Garden King, Peach Garden King. Someone shouted the title, and it rang across the sky. Seeing the enthusiasm of Soto City's people, Ning Rongrong and Xiao Wu glanced at their teacher again, unable to hide their excitement. If teacher became king, wouldn't that give us a chance to be empresses? An emperor could have 3 wives and 4 concubines. Our wildest dream might come true. Peach Garden King! Peach Garden King! Xiao Wu and Ning Rongrong waved flags and cheered until teacher shot them an indifferent glance that made their faces flush. They quickly fell silent. I am honored by everyone's trust, Su Ran said. I have already secured a region, 200 miles north and 300 miles south of Soto City, for everyone. It will be an independent, autonomous peach garden jurisdiction. I said jurisdiction, not kingdom. To the south beyond this independent jurisdiction will be the former Douluo Empire, now administered by the Supreme Pontiff Palace. To the north will be the Heaven Do Empire. Those who wish to join either of those empires may leave the Peach Garden jurisdiction at any time and obtain their citizenships. And the Peach Garden jurisdiction will have no king. Su Ran had clearly thought this through. The Douluo Empire would be taken over by the Supreme Pontiff Palace led by Bibi Dong, becoming a religious state with power above the imperial line, selecting commoners and spirit master elites to help govern. The roughly 300-mile area around Taoyuan Academy would become an independent jurisdiction supported by the academy to create a system that didn't exist on the Douluo Continent. Hearing there would be no king, many people were puzzled. Huo Wushuang and Feng Xiaoqian muttered together. No king. Then who will manage the jurisdiction? Both great empires have emperors. What is Teacher Su trying to do? Shay Ke looked confused too, but Su Ran's next words stunned everyone. This is why I've gathered you for a lecture and a discussion. Within Peach Garden, there will be no king, no human rights ranks. Citizens will be the masters. I will oversee the establishment of a Citizens Representative Council. Every city, county, and town within the jurisdiction will elect representatives to the council. They will decide jurisdictional policies and draft laws. The council will elect a speaker by public vote to handle major affairs. Within Peach Garden, spirit masters and commoners will have equal human rights. All must obey the law. Nobody may murder innocent people, commit rape, abduction, or plunder. The power of spirit masters must not be built on oppressing commoners. While enjoying privileges, they must protect the jurisdiction and safeguard the people. We'll form a spirit master citizen army to defend the territory. Spirit masters must never abandon their duty. I know this is difficult to achieve, but Taoyuan Academy is willing to try and set an example within the Peach Garden jurisdiction. Silence followed Suran's words. Complete, breathless silence. Everyone stared, especially the commoners. Equal rights for commoners? The right to vote? Spirit masters had occupied the highest rung of society. Decades, perhaps centuries, of hierarchy would have to change. It seemed impossible. Then a roar broke out, and the crowd erupted into cheers. We don't know what kind of system this is, but Dean Su is the only great expert willing to protect us, the only one who fights for ordinary people. We'll trust Dean Su. We will cooperate with whatever Dean Su plans next. God is nothing compared to our Dean. Great, wonderful. Suran felt the weight of their trust and was moved. For these people, a council system and democracy were alien concepts, but they were willing to believe in him, and that alone made him willing to be brave. At that moment, the system chimed in Suran's mind. Taoyuan Academy evolved. Peach Garden jurisdiction established. Reward the host with a 1-rank increase in spirit power. All spirit ring and spirit bone age limits increased by 10%, granting the jurisdiction several rewards. Detected over 10,000 power of faith. Activating incense and faith, opening the immortal path channel. Spirit, divine show peak branch. Spirit power, rank 99 ultimate Douluo. Spirit bones, 600,000-year external spirit bone, cloud dream immortal wings, 500,000-year right arm bone, heavenly craftsmanship, etc. Domains, divine show peach heaven, teacher of glory, forbidden magic domain, slaughter god domain, faith of all people. First spirit ability, Jeji Ru Meng, plucking branches as dreams, age limit increased to 70,000 years. Second spirit ability, a dream peach sword order, age limit increased to 80,000 year. Third spirit ability, chaotic red flying snow, age limit increased to 88,000 years. Fourth spirit ability, scarlet moon peach bloom, age limit increased to 100,000 years. Fifth spirit ability, burning flower 1000 peach slash, age limit increased to 160,000 years. Sixth spirit ability, 9 luminaries peach blossom sword, ability 1, awakening ability 2, guiding heavenly star, age limits increased to 250,000 years. Seventh spirit ability, red dust true body, 100,000-year companion ring domain, white jade capital in heaven, age limit increased to 315 years. Eighth spirit ability, shaking falling moon, ability 1, shaking falling sun, ability 2, age limits increased to 400,000 years. Ninth spirit ability, ultimate freedom, ability 1, peach immortal's guidance, myriad flowers arrive, ability 2, age limits increased to 700 years. Chapter 267, Receiving Guests, Huowu righteously indignant. This is the force of a 99th level spirit power, completely beyond the 97th and 98th. I should count as the youngest limit Douluo on the Douluo Continent, right? At Peach Garden Academy, Suran sat on a stone stool before the lecture hall, feeling the spirit power that had surged through him with his recent breakthrough. His meridians had always been broad, like rivers rushing or a calm sea, but with spirit power advancing to the 99th level, they widened again, amplifying his strength. Suran's mind, however, was restless with 3 pressing responsibilities. First, the independence and governance of Soto City, and the building of a new kind of nation. Suran had been born into a world where people were their own masters. He had the chance to emulate predecessors and found his own achievements. Second, the girls, Shui Binger, Shui Yor, and Du Guyan, were still undergoing their sea god trials. Sea God Island's affairs were unfinished, and the deep-sea demon whale king had yet to be brought to the surface. Third, the Academy's disciples were making steady progress in cultivation. Teaching and management needed attention. All three matters shaped the future of his disciples and of Soto City and required his careful handling. Fortunately, the girls understood the moment's gravity and had grown more sensible, far less likely now to be plotting some childish prank behind his back. He let out a soft sigh and looked up through drifting peach blossoms to the sky above the academy. Pale pink and golden qi braided together, flowing from every direction to converge on him. As that qi entered his body, he felt a pleasant warmth, like soaking in a clear hot spring that cleansed the mortal flesh. Suran's physique was originally immortal, peach blossom born and extremely pure, barely affected even by immortal-grade herbs. Yet this qi caused a transformation, a sign of its extraordinary nature. Since his public declaration of the Peach Garden Autonomous Republic and the system's activation of the Peach Blossom Immortal Path, this unusual power had not ceased. Ning Fengji of the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School had gradually left sect affairs in Rongrong's hands and came by to assist her. He and Sword Douluo Xin guarded the Peach Garden branch of the sect. After the great battle in Soto City, the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School abandoned its deployment in Heaven-Do City and began preparing to relocate the main sect to the Peach Garden Nation to share fate with the Academy. Ning Fengji liked to visit the Academy for tea with Suran, living a pleasantly relaxed life. While they drank, Suran pointed at the sky. "Schoolmaster Ning, do you see auspicious light falling here?" Ning Fengji looked up and smiled. After great trials come good fortune, auspicious signs descending from heaven. Peach Garden Academy is due for a change of fate. Ning Fengji's words were polite. His gaze showed no sign that he could actually see the qi. Suran suspected this was something only he perceived, perhaps a manifestation of the power of faith, a primal heaven and earth force that could turn spirit energy into divine might. If so, it hinted at the chance to seize a god position, an occurrence so rare on the Douluo Continent that tens of thousands of years might pass without one. "Teacher," came a voice along the peach blossom path. Wang Sheng walked up with steady steps and saluted. "Dean Leng of Tianshui Academy, representatives from Blazing Academy, Divine Wind Academy, and other academies wish to meet with you. How do you wish to receive them?" Suran thought for a moment. "They've come with goodwill. It would be heartless to turn them away. Let them in." "All right." Wang Sheng hesitated, then suddenly knelt, his strong legs folding so that his forehead hit the ground with a heavy thud. "This student, on behalf of my wife and myself, thanks teacher for saving our lives." After the battle, Wang Sheng had learned how fast the Star Luo army had struck. With supplies low, they had burned, killed, and looted. His wife had narrowly escaped assault. Coming home, he found soldiers had broken in, stolen poultry and livestock, emptied the rice jars, and even built a fire on the family stove. 2 soldiers, taken by Schwanner's beauty, had turned lascivious. At the critical moment, a peach blossom branch had flashed by and beheaded the soldiers, saving his family. In this world, who but teacher could wield such a spirit effect? "Enough with the theatrics," Suran said, waving a breeze that lifted Wang Sheng to his feet. "You're a grown man who practices the dragon-subduing palm. Your knees are where yang gathers. Don't kneel casually, or you'll scatter your yang qi." Wang Sheng rubbed his head, unsure what else to say. He grunted twice, bowed again, then hurried out to deliver Suran's reply. Not long after, nearly 20 people filed in, curious eyes taking in Peach Garden Academy. The peach blossom grove had been badly damaged, some trees burned, others hacked, but with Suran's return, the destruction had already begun to heal. In just days, new shoots pushed from the ground like mushrooms after rain, burned trunks sprouted buds, snapped branches knit together, and fallen flowers stirred with life. Peach Garden Academy's interior was unlike other Spirit Master schools. It emphasized practical training, iron stakes and dummies for boxing practice, human-sized training dummies engraved with acupoints to teach vulnerable points, and heavy punching bags for developing strength and speed. Rumor had it that anyone who could knock a bag down would earn the Academy's splendid badge, though even the Academy's finest, Wang Sheng and senior sister Ning Rongrong, had never managed it. "Dean Su, we have long admired your reputation. It is an honor to meet you," said the representatives from Blazing Academy, Divine Wind Academy, and the Elephant Armored Academy as they entered the lecture hall and saw Su Ran's composed, inscrutable expression. Leng Ning Shuang and Leng Yuhan of Tian Renxue Academy, being more familiar, stepped forward and bowed respectfully. Teacher Su, long time no see. We arrived a few days ago, but seeing the devastation in Soto City and the damage to the academy, we feared disturbing you. We offered what aid we could and apologize if we were discourteous. Su Ran inclined his head, then motioned. More than 20 stone stools slid from the peach grove to form a circle, and peach blossom tea, an essence distilled from the very academy's trees, floated into cups, pouring itself with a faint floral aroma. Thank you all for coming, Su Ran said. I appreciate your help these past days, both inside Soto City and beyond. Please have some tea. This tea was reserved for insiders. Its peach blossom essence could cleanse impurities and calm the mind, an honor to receive. It's the right thing to do, Huo Wu said loudly, brimming with righteous anger. Soto City suffered such cruelty. The perpetrators were monsters. We couldn't stand by. I only regret arriving too late to personally cut down a few Star Luo soldiers to ease my anger. Another voice added, and the gathered guests muttered in agreement, their indignation echoing through the peach-scented air. Chapter 268. Our academy will no longer participate in the All-Continent Elite Soul Master competition. Where? Don't talk so much. The voice belonged to Huo Xuan, Dean of Blazing Academy, a spirit Douluo powerhouse and the biological father of Huo Wu and Huo Wu Shuang. He hadn't attended the previous Soul Master competition himself, but Huo and Huo Wu Shuang had whispered about Taoyuan Academy for years and begged to be allowed to join. When he heard about the battle in Soto City, he came to see this so-called Peach Blossom Immortal for himself. The rumors had been true. The moment the Peach Blossom Immortal appeared, Huo Xuan knew he was extraordinary. Called out by her father, Huo pursed her lips defiantly. How dare you scold me? I'm the queen of Blazing Academy. Just because you're my dad doesn't mean you can boss me around. Do you think I'm listening to you? Su Ran smiled faintly. That's fine. Your daughter has a fiery temper and is blunt. I noticed that during the last Soul Master competition. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Huo Xuan doted on Huo Wu. With Su Ran's approval, Huo Wu's scowl melted into a smile. Teacher Su understands me best. Father, you don't understand me at all. Humph. Huo Xuan rubbed his nose, bemused by his little firecracker. At that moment, Feng Xiaoqian, captain of Divine Wind Academy's team, couldn't help himself and looked at Su Ran expectantly. I wonder if Teacher Su still remembers me? Su Ran glanced at him. I remember. Feng Xiaoqian, captain of the Divine Wind team, you invented the rapid wind 36 consecutive slashes. Your talent is considerable. Yo-ho! Feng Xiaoqian practically leapt 2 meters into the air, grinning from ear to ear. He flicked his hair back and boasted to Huo Wu. Huo Wu, did you hear that? Teacher Su remembers me. He even remembers my rapid wind 36. I must have made a deep impression on Taoyuan Academy's students. And my rapid wind 36 has evolved into 54 consecutive slashes now. Its power has almost doubled, he added proudly, hoping to catch Huo Wu's eye. Instead, Huo Wu took it as an insult. Her chest heaved, and she shot him a fierce glare. Are you the only one with talent? The only one who invented a spirit skill? Teacher Su, doesn't my ring fusion technique count? Why do you only remember Feng Xiaoqian's skill and not mine? Huo Xuan gaped, his daughter pouting like that. He'd raised her for 20 years and never seen her give in so easily. Teacher Su's methods work fast, he thought. Su Ran's expression softened as he looked at Huo Wu. He saw a little of Rongrong in her. Both had the same initial tsundere streak. I remember your ring fusion too. It's powerful. Huo Wu beamed. I knew Teacher Su wouldn't forget me. But Teacher Su's disciples are even more amazing. I thought that after 4 or 5 years of hard cultivation, I could catch up. But I've heard Zhu Zhuqing and Wang Sheng can already contend with Spirit Saint powerhouses. Alas, she sighed. Zhuqing and Wang Sheng each had their own opportunities. You can't really compare, Su Ran said. Among your peers, you're all excellent spirit masters. But since you're here today, I have a suggestion that might help. He took a sip of peach blossom tea and continued. Feng Xiaotian, your Storm Devil Wolf consecutive slashes, each strike grows stronger, as if you're building up to break through your limits. but it's risky and unstable. It's suitable for arena duels where the rules and space are constrained, but in free combat it's vulnerable. As the saying goes, the great Tao is simple. The more moves a single technique has, the more points of failure it introduces, and the harder it is to master. Whether it's 54 slashes, 81, or 1001, each extra move is another flaw. Against a clever top-tier opponent, those weaker than you might stand there and let you string together all your slashes, but if they're evenly matched, they will either avoid your range and escape your chain, or they will interrupt you. 54 slashes means 54 chances to be stopped. How could it ever be executed perfectly? Su Ran's point was simple but crucial to cultivation. The techniques he taught rarely relied on overly complicated sequences. He cited the Clear Sky sect's disorder-splitting wind hammer method, 81 swings to reach its peak. Tang Hao, he said, had never once completed all 81 swings in front of Su Ran. Each swing was, in Su Ran's eyes, another possible flaw. Who would foolishly allow an opponent to charge up that many times? Feng Xiaoqian fell silent. Su Ran was right. Outside the controlled arena, who would wait for 54 or 56 slashes to finish? Su Ran turned to Huo Wu. Your ring fusion doesn't use many tricks. You concentrate several spirits' power into one strike, brutal, straightforward, and devastating. It's exactly the counter to flashy multi-move skills. In the preliminaries, Divine Wind Academy had lost to Blazing Academy. Many assumed Feng Xiaotan had held back on Huo Wu, but in reality he'd been forced to, because when their spirit power gap was small and Huo Wu consolidated her rings into a single force, her power was overwhelming. Huo Wu's Blazing Sun had a locking ability as well. How could Divine Wind have won? Still, Su Ran continued, wind aids fire, and fire borrows wind's momentum. They don't simply clash like water and fire, they can complement each other. If fire can borrow wind's momentum, wind can borrow fire's power. He was advocating a different approach. Rather than obsessing over long consecutive slashes, learn to master wind pressure and convergence. Use the natural traits of the wind attribute itself. For Huo Wu, fusing her rings into one explosive force maximizes instantaneous power, but it sacrifices the innate qualities of fire, burning and explosive force, not blunt smashing. Whoever figures out how to borrow and combine the attributes first will gain the upper hand. The directions Su Ran sketched out for Huo Wu and Feng Xiaotian were straightforward in theory, but difficult in practice. Even the two deans of Divine Wind and Blazing only half understood, though they could tell the idea had merit enough. Feng Xiaochuan, dean of Divine Wind Academy and himself a spirit Douluo, smiled and smoothed things over. Teacher Su's insight is unique, but wind pressure, what exactly is that power? Simple. Su Ran produced a hollow bamboo tube and a scrap of paper. Placing the tube's air outlet toward the paper, he gestured to Feng Xiaoqian. Use your wind element to blow air into this tube. When I release this paper, will it fall or rise? It should fall, Feng Xiaochuan answered. Everything falls to the ground, especially with wind blowing on it. Su Ran said nothing and nodded for Feng Xiaoqian to blow. What happened next stunned everyone. When Su Ran let go, the paper did not flutter straight down. Instead, it slowly rose and was carried away on the air current. This is wind pressure, Su Ran explained. When wind blows, it takes air with it, the pressure above decreases, and the paper is lifted. If you skillfully use the power of wind, even without high spirit rank, you can fly for long periods or hold opponents in place. The demonstration was a simple science principle, but for Feng Xiaotian and Huo Wu, it felt like magic. Their respect for Su Ran deepened. He knew so much. If we teach this to our competition team and they hold the air superiority, Taoyuan Academy will be hard to beat, Feng Xiaotian joked. Su Ran shook his head. I've already made up my mind. From now on, Taoyuan Academy will no longer organize teams to participate in the All-Continent Elite Soul Master competition. What? Chapter 269. Is teacher going to put me in a secret room? Why? Peach Garden Academy is so strong. It would surely become a leader in the All-Continent Elite Soul Master competition, win the championship, and keep the title. Why isn't Dean Su entering? Feng Xiaochuan, Leng Ningshuang, the Dean of the Plant Academy, the Dragon Duke and Snake Granny from the Alien Beast Academy, and Sect Master Hu Yanzhen of the Elephant Armored Academy all sat together. When they heard that Peach Garden Academy would not take part in the Soul Master competition, they couldn't calm down. They sipped their peach blossom tea in stunned silence. Suran only smiled faintly and teased, "If Peach Garden Academy doesn't compete, that's one less strong opponent. Isn't that good for you?" "That's true, but if Peach Garden doesn't show, the competition loses its soul. It won't feel as important." Besides, the Soul Master competition was meant to preserve peace. Back then, Heaven Du, Star Luo, and Spirit Hall signed the agreement together and invited all the advanced Spirit Master academies to take part. The continent's situation has changed now. The Star Luo Empire and the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan behind Letting Academy have behaved disgracefully. If we enter, it will be different. Maybe we'll have to teach them a lesson. I heard the Supreme Pontiff Palace has moved into Star Luo, and Peach Garden has established a Republican jurisdiction. The alliance between Peach Garden and the Supreme Pontiff Palace has replaced, or even surpassed, the old Star Luo as a new rising power. If Peach Garden steps back, the contest feels incomplete. "Dean Su, please reconsider." The deans and old acquaintances pressed their advice on Suran. He looked at a peach blossom branch swaying in the breeze, sat in silence a long moment, then finally spoke. "Although Peach Garden Academy will not participate in the Soul Master competition, the Supreme Pontiff Palace will form a team to compete that can stand in for Peach Garden. And while our academy won't take part in the All-Continent Elite Soul Master competition, we will host the Peach Garden Academy All-Continent Open Challenge." Peach Garden Academy Open Challenge? What kind of competition is that? How do you fight? What are the rules? Suran explained. "In short, this will be our academy's open challenge. Our students can spar against each other, and outsiders may challenge our students. It's partly to test our students' learning and strength, and partly to interact with spirit masters across the continent." He went on to outline new campus regulations, the establishment of an Academy Elite Guard and an inspection team to patrol and maintain order in the Republican jurisdiction and to punish internal wrongdoing. The Academy Elite team would be publicly elected through the Peach Garden competition, and selection would require outstanding strength and a review of character. "Oh, so our Taoyuan Academy students still have a chance to spar with Peach Garden students?" one of the Blazing Academy students asked. "Of course," Suran said. "Making friends through martial arts is a tradition. Peach Garden has gone through ups and downs, but now that we're open for teaching, we won't turn friends away." Huo Wu, still recovering from Suran's instruction, had her eyes burning with ambition. She marveled at the marvelous combination of wind and fire techniques she had learned and said, "That's great. I lost to Little Rabbit and Ning Rongrong before. I've trained hard for 4 or 5 years. I want another shot at them." "Me too." Xiao Wu, Teacher Su said wind and fire support each other. "Why don't we team up? Our odds would be much better," Feng Xiaotan proposed boldly. Huo Wu glanced at him. "Who'd want to team up with you? And call me Huo Wu, not that nickname." Feng Xiaochen sheepishly scratched his head. "Okay." A pale blue figure then glided in the academy grounds. Shui Yuer and Meng Yiran had returned from Sea God Island after going to Star Luo, suppressing its arrogance and reporting back. Yuer's quick eyes scanned the gathered faces and lit up. "So many guests. Looks like I'm back at a busy time," she sang out, then peered at Suran with mischief and waved to relatives. "Mama Leng, Aunt Han, you're here too." Leng Ningshuang and Leng Yuehan exchanged looks. There was something unusual about Yuer's aura. On the other side, Meng Yiran ran into the arms of the Dragon Duke and Snake Granny, smiling brightly. She hadn't seen them for 2 or 3 years and missed them terribly. "Grandpa, Grandma, I missed you so much." "Oh, our little darling, we missed you too." Dragon Duke, Meng Shu, and Snake Woman Chao Tianxiang looked at Meng Yiran with pride and tender concern. "You've grown taller and prettier, but you look thinner. Training and trials must have been tough. Did you not eat on time? Practice is important, but you must take care of your health. Understand?" Snake Woman stood on tiptoe and stroked Meng Yiran's head. Meng Yiran laughed. "Don't worry, Grandpa and Grandma. Teacher's been very good to us. We're fine. It would be better if there weren't those petty people trying to harm us." They had been waiting for Suran's instructions in the West Sea, and later heard what had happened in Soto City. They had been furious, but they'd managed to calm down. Meng Yuran kissed Chao Tianxiang's wrinkled cheek. And who'd believe it? I might be more powerful than you now. Don't be overconfident, little one. Though we're old, Grandpa is still at the spirit Douluo realm, Meng Shu said, skeptical. Meng Yuran stuck out her tongue. I'm already at the spirit saint realm, almost level 80. And don't forget, I'm teacher student. I can fight above my level. What? Spirit saint realm? You're only in your 20s. Both Dragon Duke and Snake Woman were stunned. In less than 7 years with Peach Garden Academy, their granddaughter's spirit power had leapt from around level 30 to over 70. What kind of phenomenal speed was that? They were sure this was the result of Teacher Su's guidance. Teacher, Shui Yuer chirped, fussy with concern. You must have been working so hard. You even have dark circles. Take care of yourself. If your health breaks down, how can you last until Yuer comes to squeeze the juice? Cough. She covered her mouth and continued more seriously. Teacher, Senior Sister Yuran and I are back to report. We've basically cleared out the Star Luo Empire, and our assessments have been updated. Our top 8 trials have become 9 trials. Strange, but we both passed the 4th trial. Elder Sister and the others are back in Vast Sea City awaiting instructions. Should they return to Sea God Island to continue their trials or come back to the academy? Shu Yuer clung to Suran in a show of affection, which made Huowu a touch envious. Suran nodded. The academy's matters are basically settled. You can continue completing your assessments. I'll make time to go to the West Sea soon. Oh, and come to my office later, alone. I have something else to give you. Okay, just me alone? Shu Yuer sounded a little thrilled, and her mind raced. Is teacher going to put me in a secret room? Huowu's gaze lingered on Shu Yuer then, suspicion pricking her. Shu Yuer, what level is your spirit power now? She asked. There was something deep and mysterious about Yuer's aura that made Huowu uneasy. You guess. But I heard what you just said. I don't think you could beat me right now, so don't go thinking you can challenge Senior Sister Zhu Zhuqing or Senior Sister Rongrong. You definitely can't beat them. Shu Yuer glanced at Huowu and offered the warning with a smile. To Huowu, it read like an insult. Refusing even to state her spirit rank was pure contempt. Shu Yuer, you're arrogant, more arrogant than I am. I can't help it. Shu Yuer shrugged. In truth, she had already been careful with her words, saying, probably can't beat, instead of definitely can't beat. Teacher Su, you just said Peach Garden Academy's public challenges allow outsiders to issue matches. Would my challenge to Shu Yuer now count under the rules? Huowu bowed politely to Suran as she asked. Around them, the gathered elders, Tianshui Academy's Leng Ningxuang and Leng Yuahan, the deans of Divine Wind and Elephant Armored Academies, smiled. After the Soto City disaster, everyone had been tense. Watching the young fight for sport was a welcome relief. Blazing Academy's Dean Huo Xuan scolded lightly. Wuer, don't be rude. We're guests today. No problem. Suran, seeing the interest, nodded and addressed both girls. A spar is fine, but this isn't a competition. Treat it as friendly. Stop when you've made your point. Do not cause irreversible harm or endanger the other person's life. Understood? Although he addressed both, Suran was really cautioning Shu Yuer. She'd been through the gods' trial, and there was a wide gap between her and most other spirit masters. The gods' trial was a shortcut on Douluo Continent. It changed people. Yes, teacher, Shu Yuer replied. Huowu understands. Huowu answered. A clear space was made in front of the academy hall. Everyone formed a ring and watched as Huowu and Shu Yuer took opposing sides. Feng Xiaochuan of Divine Wind Academy leaned toward Feng Xiaotian. Tianer, who do you think's stronger, Huowu or Shu Yuer? Feng Xiaotian rubbed his chin. I want Huowu to win. Generally, water versus fire favors the higher spirit power. I remember Shu Yuer from the last Soul Master competition. She had one of the lowest spirit powers at Tianshui Academy, like 5 or 6 ranks below Huowu. I wonder how much she's improved under Teacher Su. But I've never known Teacher Su to have weak students. Feng Xiaoqian's expression grew serious. This wasn't only a spar. He wanted to see how far a less talented spirit master, once a rank behind, could come under Suran's guidance. Leng Ningxuang, who had always treated Shu Yuer with a strict, almost motherly vigilance, watched intently. Though not her biological daughter, Shuyue had been raised under her care, and Leng watched her as if she were family. Dragon Duke, Snake Granny, and Meng Yuran relaxed nearby, sitting at a stone table beside Suran, sipping tea and trading stories from their sea voyage. They recalled Suran hauling 100,000-year spirit beast from the ocean, tales that left them wide-eyed. How could a spirit master do such a thing? Snake Granny Chao Tianxiang gushed, admiring Suran's reputation. Maybe Teacher Su really is some kind of god and immortal from the clouds. Yuran, girl, she teased Meng Yuran, there's one thing Grandma must criticize. Cultivation's important, but there's something more important. Didn't your grandparents tell you to take Teacher Su down? Take him down. Look at him. He even has little girls around him. My granddaughter, you're still not settled? Aren't you in a hurry? If you'd said you couldn't take him down earlier, Grandma would have gone herself. Snake Granny's chatter veered off until Dragon Duke cut in. Enough. You're getting off topic. Meng Yuran only smiled helplessly. How could she decide such things? Still, she envied the Supreme Pontiff a little. On the flat ground, Shuyue assumed a flowing water fist stance and said softly to Huowu, Peach Garden Academy's Shuyue, Spirit, Whale of the Azure Sea, flowing water fist, please enlighten me. Behind her, a column of azure seawater rose, and a deep blue whale spirit exhaled. Leng Ningxuang's eyes narrowed. She exchanged a look with Leng Yuhan. Did her spirit change? Wasn't Yuer's spirit a dolphin? How did it become a whale? Could it be a spirit mutation? Murmured someone. A whale spirit was far more powerful than a dolphin. Indeed, after absorbing the 100,000-year evil spirit Orca King spirit ring and condensing a rank 70 spirit avatar, Shuyuer's spirit had evolved into the whale of the Azure Sea. Blazing Academy, probationary instructor Huowu, spirit, fire shadow. Huowu's red hair fluttered like a flame among peach blossoms. Around her, a fiery shadow gathered, and beneath her feet 5 spirit rings winked, yellow, yellow, purple, purple, and black. Seeing that Shuyuer had only summoned her spirit and not even activated any rings, Huowu bristled. In the Soul Master competition, Ning Rongrong and Du Guyan had fought like that, holding back spirit abilities and relying on unique techniques that left opponents shaken. Second spirit ability, Fire Meteorite, Huowu shouted. A blazing red meteor streaked towards Shuyuer. Yuer shifted only slightly, lowering into a horse stance, and the flowing water around her changed tone. Flowing water rock shatter. Her right hand became a whirl of water, meeting the meteor. Fire and water collided with a sizzle. Steam rose. The meteorite detonated and its cutting edge was blunted. Huowu's eyelids twitched. Taking a spirit ability head-on with a bare fist, she felt like she was facing Ning Rongrong or Wang Sheng. Flowing water, long fist. Shuyuer's steps were steady, like a stream smoothing stones. Her fist extended, soft yet firm yet yielding, snuffing the flames around Huowu and forcing Huowu to use her third spirit ability, resisting fire ring, to isolate the water element. After only a couple of exchanges, Huowu had triggered 2 or 3 spirit abilities in a row, while Shuyuer relied only on her fists and still held the upper hand. What baffled Huowu was that Shuyuer's flowing water fist showed a cutting edge, at times an iron fist, at others a sword's glint, hardly the docile water technique she'd expected. Fifth spirit ability, Fire Shadow Clone, Huowu roared. Fourth spirit ability, Fire Dance Blazing Sun, she added, not daring to hold back. Her fourth and fifth rings flared. 3 versions of Huowu sprang up around Shuyuer, and 3 gigantic fiery suns appeared in the sky. Fire Shadow Clone could synchronize spirit abilities. 3 Fire Dance Blazing Suns struck at once, covering an area to overwhelm the opponent. That was Huowu's confidence. Shuyuer stood calmly beneath the 3 blazing stars. Our flowing water rock shatter can break this, but since this is a friendly spar, I'll show you my 5th spirit ability in respect. Boom. 7 astonishing spirit rings ignited beneath Shuyuer's feet. Every spirit master present who wasn't from Peach Garden Academy sat up straighter at once. The ring configuration was startling. Purple, 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 black, black, red. Not a single 100-year ring. Every ring was 1,000-year or older, and one was a 100,000-year ring. Tide, return, Shuyuer whispered, releasing her 5th spirit ability. Chapter 271, Huowu. I want to burn the sea. Whale sea long roar. Sea Ring Dragon Breath. From the azure sea ring that condensed before Shuiyuer, a roaring torrent suddenly erupted. The sea ring tightened leisurely and then all at once maximized its intensity. To everyone's astonishment, Shuiyuer began to spin in place, the tidal dragon breath rotating with her. It struck wherever she pointed, covering dozens of meters around her and instantly snuffing out the falling blazing sun stars before they could detonate. The tidal dragon breath submerged Huo Wu completely. When her figure finally surfaced, she was sitting on the ground, soaked through. Her clingy red outfit outlined her curves precisely. Her beautiful, stubborn little face looked more wounded than angry. The fiery passion inside her had been doused. If she had any complaint, it was only that she'd been too weak. She picked herself up and sighed helplessly. I lost. I can't beat you at all. How are you already over level 70? She muttered. This speed, too fast, and you actually have a 100,000-year spirit ring. Huo Wu stared at Shuiyuer with envy and resentment as the fading red spirit ring glowed on Shuiyuer's arm. Her teeth ground together. Shuiyuer only offered a modest salute. You flatter me. It's all thanks to Teacher Su's guidance. Without his teaching, I wouldn't be your match. You're very powerful, too. A faint smile lingered on Shuiyuer's face. She wasn't hiding that she was pleased to win. In the past, Tianshui Academy and Blazing Academy had clashed often. She had mostly played a supporting role and had even lost to Huo Wu before, only winning with help from her sister Binger and Shui Wu. Now, by her own strength, she defeated a former rival outright. Of course, she was happy, but Shuiyuer's victory wasn't just fortune or flattery. Huo Wu's fourth spirit ability, Blazing Sun, was already a devastating single-target attack, stronger than the Tianshui team's fusion spirit ability, Ice and Snow Falling, in the Soul Master preliminaries. Shuiyuer's fifth spirit ability, Fire Shadow Clone, deployed in tandem, made up for lack of area coverage, giving her wider reach and far deadlier lethality. It was a comprehensive upgrade. When a prodigy meets a lucky child, the prodigy can still lose, and that was exactly what had happened. Wow, a 100,000-year spirit ring? That's unbelievable, someone breathed. Shuiyuer, don't hide it. Show us again. You have a 100,000-year ring? Did Teacher Su help you get it? And it's your seventh ring that's a 100,000-year? That's incredible. Feng Xiaotan felt a pang of sympathy for Huo Wu, but he was also stunned by Shuiyuer's spirit ring configuration. For a moment, he didn't know whether to comfort Huo Wu or applaud Shuiyuer. Dean Leng Ningxuang of Tianshui Academy, Leng Yuhan, Huo Xuan of Blazing Academy, the Dean of Divine Wind Academy, and everyone else were staring, full of praise. Such a young spirit saint, Shuiyuer was only in her early 20s, possessing a 100,000-year spirit ring. A 100,000-year ring was the dream of every spirit master. Only a handful of spirit masters across the continent ever claimed such rings, and they were peak 9-ring powerhouses. Yet here it was, on a 7-ring spirit saint. Dragon Duke stroked his beard and exclaimed, "This girl is extraordinary. She seems to be a later student of Teacher Su. She's your junior sister, Yuan, isn't she? She really has a bright future. No, even now she's destined to be a leader in Tianshui City, a once-in-a-thousand-years talent." If I remember right, Yiren was only a 30-something level spirit elder at the Soul Master competition, right? Now her spirit power is higher than yours, and her spirit rings... Snake Granny Chao Tianxiang clicked her tongue, trying to soothe Meng Yiran. Yiran, you must have felt the pressure studying alongside those seniors and juniors, with Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing towering above you, and excellent juniors catching up behind. It's hard not to feel stressed. Relax. Do your best and be true to yourself. Don't measure yourself by others. Most importantly, our old Meng family is single lineage. My dear granddaughter, you still need to think about the important things in life. These past 2 years, I've seen folk doctors and found many good prescriptions. Find a chance to slip some into Teacher Su's tea and meals, and then, heh. Oh, Grandma, Grandpa, what are you talking about? Are you really my biological grandma? Meng Yiran protested. Seriously, junior sister Yuer is excellent, but your granddaughter here isn't trailing behind. Didn't I tell you? I'm also a 7-ring spirit saint. I have a 100,000-year spirit ring too. The The Dragon Duke and Snake Granny gossiped and laughed until Meng Yuran had a headache. Finally, she stood, and a domineering aura swirled about her. Her unique spirit, the Staff of the Undead, manifested. The 7 spirit ring colors flashing on the staff were purple, 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 black, 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 and red. That red ring blazed dazzlingly, drawing every eye in the crowd. You have a 100,000-year spirit ring too? You're a 7-ringed spirit saint as well? Your weakest ring is still a 1,000-year purple one? The assembled instructors, representatives, and deans were stupefied, their gazes darting between Shui Yuer and Meng Yuran. What kind of students had Teacher Su been training? Not mere prodigies, something beyond that. They were the kind of beings who might reshape the world of spirit masters. Teacher Su, how do you teach? Getting a 100,000-year spirit ring at the 7th ring, wouldn't they explode? And your luck? Finding and defeating 2 100,000-year spirit beasts for 2 such young students, it's almost impossible. Hu Yanzhen of the Elephant Armored Academy exclaimed. For a spirit master to absorb a spirit ring, they must personally kill the spirit beast. Could a 6-ring spirit emperor take down a 100,000-year spirit beast? Practically no. Even bringing a dying, gravely injured 100,000-year spirit beast before one usually meant the spirit emperor would be the one killed. We're rich. The old Meng family is truly rich now, the Dragon Duke crowed. Oh my heavens, it is really a 100,000-year spirit ring. Our Yuran has a 100,000-year ring too. Glory to our ancestors. Snake Granny laughed, practically dancing with delight. The old couple turned and bowed repeatedly to Su Ran. Thank you, Teacher Su, for cultivating our Yuran. We're forever grateful. In the future, the name of Peach Garden will be enshrined in our ancestral hall, the Dragon Duke gushed. Such strategy and guidance are divine, unmatched in the world. Teacher Su is a model of this age, peerless and exemplary. The river of flattery left Su Ran a little embarrassed. I don't deserve this. These girls simply had good luck. I only went along. Then, Teacher Su, can you push me too? Help me open a new wave and burn the sky, Huo Wu pleaded. Her clothes clung to her skin, damp and heated. She moved forward, eyes full of longing, and looked at Su Ran with a plaintive expression. Please, push me. Any kind of push would do. Not to turn me into some unrivaled spirit master. If I could just make a single attack bloom with 1,000 colors in a line, that would be enough, she added, voice trembling with desire. Where? What are you blathering about? Master Su, please don't be angry. This girl is usually spoiled by us. She's probably been rattled by Miss Yuer and isn't speaking clearly. Elder Huo Xuan frowned. He hadn't heard the whole conversation and hurried forward to smooth things over. Huo Wuxuang tugged at his sleeve. Huo Xuan scolded him in a low voice. You brat, why are you pulling me? Haven't you seen that those Taoyuan Academy students are exceptionally talented? They'll sooner or later reach above rank 95. Your sister is too blunt. She lost, and she shouldn't offend Master Su. Huo Wuxuang rubbed his forehead, helpless, and whispered into his father's ear. Father, haven't you noticed? Xiao Wu wants to join Taoyuan Academy. She wants to become Master Su's disciple and ask him to help her ride the winds and break the waves. At that, Huo Xuan slapped his forehead, finally understanding. His eyes brightened, and a wrinkled smile spread over his old face. Becoming a Taoyuan disciple would be wonderful. If our Huo family could produce a junior with 100,000-year spirit ring, we'll be famous across the land. Huo Wu rolled her eyes at her father's excitement, stepped forward, cupped her hands toward Su Ran, and said earnestly, Master Su, 5 years ago, during the Soul Master qualifiers in Heaven-Do City, my brother and I considered becoming disciples. It was just that Binger and Yuer went first, and we didn't have the nerve to press it then. I missed the opportunity. One learns as one lives. Right now, I'm only an intern instructor at Blazing Academy, and compared to Shui Yuer, I still have a lot to learn. I want to keep learning and only become a proper teacher after I become a true spirit master powerhouse. Master Su, will you accept Wuer? Huo Wu is willing to start from scratch, work hard, and follow whatever guidance you give. Huo Wu knelt before Su Ran in a show of sincerity. Shui Yuer, standing beside her, pursed her lips. She'd only meant to bring honor to the academy and show Taoyuan's standard. How had she ended up creating another fangirl for the teacher? Feng Xiaochuan nudged Feng Xiaoqian. Realizing what was happening, Xiaoqian quickly knelt as well. Teacher Su, Feng Xiaoqian said, like Huo Wu, I've admired you for a long time. I truly want to stay at Taoyuan Academy to study and grasp the origin of wind. I'm willing to become a guardian of the Republic under Taoyuan's banner. Huo Wushuang's heart thudded. He was moved too and clumsily knelt beside Huo Wu. He didn't want to miss this chance. After the Soto City War and the founding of the Republic, Taoyuan Academy needed people. This could be their dream fulfilled. Perhaps there would never be a better time. Young instructors and disciples from various academies and sects who had come to offer condolences watched, torn between hesitation and the urge to step forward. What had started as a visit had turned into an impromptu petition to be taken as disciples. Su Ran, versed in soul inquiry, could feel more and more people around him thinking of following him. He had been very busy lately. Taking on 10 more disciples would stretch him thin and make proper teaching impossible. Still, this girl had spoken with such sincerity, it felt cruel to refuse. Very well, Su Ran said. These past months have been full of tragedies, and I had not intended to accept disciples. Since you three already have a 5-year connection, I'll accept you as my inner disciples for now. You will temporarily study at Hongfeng Hall. Only after passing assessments will you have a chance to enter Taoyuan Hall for formal cultivation. He reached into his robe and produced 3 tiny peach blossom badges. This badge is the Academy's token. Accept it. Even with your elders here, I must speak plainly. Once you become Taoyuan students, you must follow the school rules. Study diligently, refrain from wrongdoing, do not bully the weak, keep the country in your heart, and understand righteousness. If you break serious rules or commit grave offenses, you will be suspended or expelled. In severe cases, your spirit may be crippled. Do you understand? Su Ran waved his hand lightly. The 3 peach blossom badges, small as silver coins, fell before Huo Wu, Huo Wushuang, and Feng Xiaotian. Huo Wu picked hers up and clutched it tightly. To her it was a lifelong treasure. Only those who had been rejected by Taoyuan knew how precious such a token was. Understood. Disciple greets teacher. This disciple will abide by the rules, respect teachers and elders, prioritize cultivation and study, follow the teacher's commands, uphold the Tao, and defend the Republic. Huo Wu, Feng Xiaotian, and Huo Wushuang kowtowed deeply. Elder Huo Xuan's face broke into a proud grin. Master Su, don't worry. Although Wushuang used to get into all sorts of trouble, peeking at the neighbor's widow when he was a child, he's steadier now. You can beat him or scold him. If he doesn't listen, just kick him. He's easy to manage. Where is impulsive? I haven't taught her well. I'll have to ask Master Su for patience. Of course, if she disobeys, don't worry about my reputation. Give her a good beating if she needs it. Feng Xiaochuan was overjoyed. He'd heard the stories about Taoyuan students from the Soto City War, how they fought like 10,000 men, invincible. Everyone said Taoyuan students made names for themselves. If Xiaoqian became one, his future would shine. These past 2 years, he's only talked about Taoyuan's unique wind skills. He dreams of breakthroughs. Well, if you can't beat them, join them. While some celebrated, others lamented. Several young people from surrounding academies had hesitated to kneel and petition, but Su Ran had made his decision. Inner disciples. Opportunity had been brief, and for those who missed it, regret settled in. Rank 55 Battle Spirit Master, Spirit Fire Shadow, Top Elemental Quality, Innate Aptitude. Rank 55 Battle Spirit Master, Spirit Horned Exploding Dragon. Fengsheng 59 Battle Spirit Master, Gale Twin-Headed Demonic Wolf, Outstanding Comprehension, Innate Aptitude. Accepted Hu and Feng Xiuqian as disciples. Gained admiration from Blazing Academy, Divine Wind Academy, Elephant Armored Academy, Exotic Beasts Academy, and others. Rewards being issued. Rewards: Spirit Power increased to the host. All Spirit Ring and Spirit Bone age limits increased by 5%. 6 chances to draw from Fire and Wind Cultivation Technique and unique skill pools. Disciple Faith Power returns multiplied by 100 for 100 days. Host's current Faith Power, 164,056. Note, Faith Power can be used to increase one's lifespan, infuse and strengthen skill power. 1 million points may be used to attempt to condense an exclusive immortal rank, etc. A faint system screen flickered in the depth of Su Ran's vision, and he signed off on the system's rewards. Chapter 273, Enrollment. As everyone knows, your senior brother Wang is a boxing fanatic, and I'm even crazier. I won't see you off, Wu. Since Teacher Su is willing to take you as a disciple, remember to shed that Blazing Academy arrogance and study hard at Peach Garden Academy. This chance isn't something anyone gets. You and your brother are closed-door disciples. You should know what that means. Cherish it. Don't disgrace Blazing Academy, and don't disgrace Peach Garden Academy. A closed-door disciple was the last in a line of apprentices. Once this disciple was accepted, the apprenticeship line closed and no more disciples would be taken, hence the name. Delegations from Blazing Academy, Divine Wind Academy, Elephant Armored Academy, Tianshui Academy, Plant Academy, and others had visited Peach Garden Academy for an hour. Their conversations with teacher Su Ran had been enlightening. Now the party, seen off by Peach Garden students, had reached the main gate. Principal Huo Xuan of Blazing Academy pressed one last earnest admonition on Huo Wu, worried she would be as headstrong at Peach Garden as she had been at home. Even a strict father was helpless before a beloved daughter. Huo Xuan turned to Huo Wu Shuang and said sternly, "Watch your sister. If you two cause trouble at Peach Garden, and I hear about it, before Teacher Su punishes you, I'll come all the way from Blazing City myself and teach you a lesson. Do you hear me?" Huo Wushuang bowed his head slightly, far less domineering than he had been outside. Wushuang wouldn't dare. This opportunity is hard won. Xiao Wu and I will study hard here. Please rest assured, father. That's good. Huo Xuan nodded, climbed into the carriage bearing the fiery red flag, and waved toward Peach Garden Academy. Thank you for your hospitality. Our Blazing Academy will head back. If you need anything, Peach Garden Academy, just ask. Blazing Academy will stand with you. Tianer, study hard. Dad is going back. By the carriage with the wind element banner, Feng Xiaochuan offered only a few brief instructions. Feng Xiaoqian had been a precocious child, quick with spirit master theory and skillful with his abilities. Feng Xiaochuan had every confidence in him. Still, as the carriage drew up, he added one last reminder. Now that you're at Peach Garden Academy, prioritize your studies. Don't get entangled in romances, and don't make trouble for Dean Su. Feng Xiaoqian understood his father's meaning. His expression dimmed, but he nodded. Don't worry, father. I know my limits. Feng Xiaochuan sighed. I can see Huo Wu doesn't really like me, especially now that she's studying with Teacher Su. Teacher is handsome and powerful. No wonder the girls are taken. If I were a girl, I wouldn't be able to look at anyone else after seeing him either. He shook his head at his own helplessness. Feng Xiaochuan had heard rumors. Dean Su Ran was peerlessly beautiful and terrifyingly powerful, rivaling the top contemplators of Spirit Hall. He thought he was prepared, but only when he saw Teacher Su in person did he fully appreciate it. Even the old neighbors, Snake Granny Chao Tianxiang, who kept glancing back while holding Meng Yiran's little hand, seemed reluctant to leave. Feng Xuan felt almost pitiable for anyone who hadn't seen Dean Su yet. Satisfied, he signaled the carriage to head northeast and left the campus in a cloud of dust. Meng Yiran had also said her goodbyes. She gifted Dragon Duke and Snake Granny a set of hidden weapons she had improved herself. These weren't Teacher Su's direct teachings. They were inventions of her own, based on what she'd learned. She had upgraded the old soul-breaking blade she'd made years ago, studying a top-ranked flying knife renowned for its accuracy and armor piercing, and integrating spirit tool knowledge she'd picked up at Peach Garden Academy. She embedded spirit tool gems into the profound steel blade to allow instant bursts of energy, and wrapped the handle with soul silk using the Ghost Shuttle's control technique to improve accuracy. The result was her unique throne blade, which she named the Little Meng Peach Blossom Blade. Dean Su, we'll head to Soto City to help with reconstruction. If you need anything, call on us. If those Star Luo remnants or the Haotian and Blue Lightning remnants come looking for trouble, we won't hold back. Ning Rongrong of Tianshui Academy took Teacher Su Ran's hand with visible reluctance. Everyone understood Teacher Su had become very busy. Clinging on would only be childish. Shui Yuer watched Ning Rongrong take a polite but firm hold of Teacher Su's jade-like hand and couldn't help but pout inwardly. She'd noticed how the older students hugged and lingered a little longer in each other's presence and thought, with childlike logic, if the grown-ups can be a little tactile with teacher, why shouldn't she? A kiss, a hug, a bit of closeness to celebrate being accepted, that seemed only fair. "Welcome to Peach Garden Academy," Teacher Su greeted the new students. "You are the new force of our academy, and among the few males here. Hey, buddy, let me walk you to your residence. It's very close." As the other academy's carriages pulled away, Huo Wushuang and Feng Xiaochun took a steadying breath and turned, only to find a pair of large hands on their shoulders. A tall young man with a sharp, carved face beamed at them, greeting their arrival with open enthusiasm. For a moment, they were stunned. He wasn't one of the competitors they'd seen during the Soulmaster trials. He must be a student Teacher Su had taken earlier. Wang Sheng smiled and called over to the newcomer with a laugh. "Lauda, welcome the junior brothers, but keep it down. You'll scare them off." Lauda? The nickname made Huo Wushuang and Feng Xiaotian exchange puzzled looks. They'd heard some senior sisters call Wang Sheng senior brother, and they figured he was the only male student they knew here, so the nickname was confusing. They bowed respectfully to Wang Sheng and the man beside him. "Greetings, senior brother Wang, senior brother Xiao." Xiao Chenyu shrugged casually. He patted their shoulders, smiling warmly. "Don't be so formal. The academy respects teachers and elders, yes, but among us we're all classmates and friends. I've waited so many years for this day," Xiao said with a sigh. "Really, I'd given up hope you two would ever arrive." Huo Wushuang scratched his head. "Waited for us? Senior brother Xiao, is there something?" "There's plenty," Xiao interrupted with mock weariness. "You don't know. Peach Garden Academy has over 20 students, and only 2 males, senior brother Wang and me." Feng Xiaoqian grinned. "So senior brother Xiao's been lonely? Waiting for us to be punching bags for senior brother Wang?" Xiao Chenyu's expression hardened theatrically. He tightened his grip on their shoulders and pulled them a little closer. His handsome face suddenly took on a ferocious look. "You've only heard half of it. Yes, senior brother Wang is obsessed with boxing. He practices dozens of times a day. But the other half, well, I'm even crazier than he is." He laughed loudly. "Come on, settle into your dorms quickly. Lately sparring with senior brother Wang hasn't been satisfying. You two come beat me up later. I beg you, beat me to death." Huo Wushuang and Feng Xiaoqun stared at him, their faces full of question marks and alarm. Chapter 274. I'm actually the worst student in the academy? The academy has fewer boys, and we don't station guards at the main gate, so the male dormitories are arranged on both sides of the entrance. The male students take turns watching who comes and goes. Our female dorms are split into 2 sections. District 1 is at Peach Garden Academy and mainly houses core disciples. Senior Sister Rongrong, Senior Sister Zhuqing, and Yanzi live there. District 2 is on the Red Maple Academy side and mostly holds named disciples. A few core disciples have rooms there too, Junior Sister Yuer and Junior Sister Shui Wu, for example. But most of the named disciples were sent out for training 2 years ago and haven't all come back yet. Junior Sister Huo Wu, you can stay in room 9 of the Red Maple dorms. It has a wide view and good ventilation and lighting. This is the academy's schedule and curriculum. Go to bed early, rise early, don't skip classes, and take morning reading seriously. Because Rongrong had been busy organizing supplies and spirit coin compensation in Soto City, and Zhuqing had led a contingent to set rules with the Supreme Pontiff Palace in Star Luo, and Yuran was still seeing her grandparents off, the duty of senior sister of the academy had fallen to Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu showed Huo Wu to her room, went over the rules, then took her on a tour. Huo Wu had never expected she'd end up at Peach Garden Academy, a fellow disciple with the person who'd broken her in the arena. Walking under the vast swathes of red peach blossoms and breathing their sweet scent, the teacher's peerless beauty drifted into her mind, and a smile spread across her face. Ah, Peach Garden Academy, how wonderful. To be the teacher's student is wonderful. If she could become the teacher's wife, now that would be perfection. Huo Wu stretched her arms as if embracing the whole academy. They visited Taoyuan Pavilion, the weaponry repair pavilion, and the training grounds. Huowu saw the old training equipment, iron pillars with fist-sized dents and stubborn stains of dried blood, said to be from senior sister Rongrong's boxing practice. No wonder her inch punch was unrivaled. Under one peach tree, red petals tended to fall in patterns that looked like a tiger. Xiaowu said Wang Sheng liked to practice his fists there, and years of punching had left a kind of qi imprint in the air, so petals gathered into shapes. Wang Sheng still practiced diligently. That kind of relentless training explained how he could shatter 100 armored soldiers with one blow. The Dao, thought Huowu, wasn't given by fate, it was forged by hard, repeated effort. A soft vibration of air came from the falling petals. Huowu looked toward Xiaowu. Xiaowu, cradling the softbones rabbit, smiled. The little white rabbit's fur was growing whiter and shinier, and its eyes had a bright alertness. The rabbit was close to gaining sentience. Xiaowu pointed. That's where Wang Sheng and Xiao Chenyu practiced their punches. The two punch-crazed junior brothers probably wanted to bring the new juniors along to work out. Wang Sheng likely wouldn't be the instigator. Xiao Chenyu would be. Punch-crazed? Two? Huowu blinked. But my brother never learned boxing techniques. Huowu had been impressed by Wang Sheng. He was the teacher's top male boxer, but she didn't know Xiao Chenyu. Xiao Wu explained. They'll probably just give the newcomers some basic boxing. The teacher will still set their cultivation path. And when it comes to sparring the newbies, those two won't go all out. They'll seal their spirit power and spirit abilities and fight with bare fists and physical strength. Junior brother Huo and junior brother Feng won't be restricted, though. They can use their spirit rings and abilities. Not even spirit power? Huowu's voice rose. We might be a step below the senior sisters and brothers, but to fight without spirit power at all, just the body. My brother and Feng Xiaoqian are competent, but this will be really hard. Are Wang Sheng and Xiao Chenyu above the spirit saint realm? Xiaowu laughed softly. It's not that mystical. Many of the older students are already pretty high. Junior sister Yuer has improved the most during the 2 years outside the academy. I heard junior sister Binger and junior sister Shuiwu are already 7th ring spirit saints, even exceeding some core disciples. I'm barely a 7th ring spirit saint myself. Wang Sheng stayed at the academy during those years and didn't get many external chances, but he's diligent. After a major battle some time ago, his meridians opened and he broke through the level 70 bottleneck on the field. Xiao Chenyu was late to start, but in the defensive battle, he used my Jade Moon power and was tempered. He broke through to level 60 spirit power. Overall, Xiao Wu said, the senior students generally had spirit power above level 60. Otherwise, they couldn't have stood out against Star Luo's 300,000 strong force. The highest spirit power probably still belonged to Zhu Qing. In Xiao Wu's view, Xiao Chenyu was also a kind of miracle. When Tongsan ignored him during the Heaven Do City competition, Wang Sheng had recognized his opportunity and helped him. You're all at level 70? Huo Wu's voice trembled. In less than 5 years, you've increased by 20 or 30 levels. I thought getting 10 levels was a lot. Hearing that, Huo Wu felt a cold weight drop into her stomach. She'd assumed Shui Yuer was an exceptional prodigy, a one-off. She hadn't realized Peach Garden Academy was full of such anomalies. Compared to them, she really was the worst student in the academy. The proud Huowu felt a wash of discomfort and humiliation she hadn't expected. Chapter 275, Be Brutal to Senior Brother. Be brutal to Senior Brother. Senior Brother Wang Sheng, it's not right for the two of us to gang up on Senior Brother Xiao, is it? What's wrong with it? It's perfect. Hey, junior brothers, don't be so polite. If you're men, fight properly. If you can beat or even kill Senior Brother Xiao, I'll petition the teacher to not blame you. At the end of the path was a sandy clearing ringed with red maples and peach blossoms. Dozens of practice iron stakes and various training weapons were planted in the sand. Profound iron was prized and expensive outside, usually only seen on general-level warriors, but in Taoyuan Academy it was common. The wear on the stakes and weapons made it obvious this was where Wang Sheng and Xiao usually sparred. Knuckle marks darkened the iron, sword and spear blades were nicked, axes were chipped, evidence of countless fist clashes. Xiao Chenyu stood in the sinking sand, taking 2 attackers at once. Huo Wushuang and Feng Xiaoqian hesitated at the edge. Wang Sheng grinned and nodded to them. He just likes taking hits, so indulge him. Don't hold back. Senior brother Xiao trains an immortal beating cultivation method. Beat him to death if you can. He can take it. Really, an immortal cultivation method. What if he dies? If he dies, I'll give you 30 million. Don't quit school. Train hard and become a legend. Senior brother Wang Sheng, that joke isn't funny. Hearing Wang Sheng's dry joke in his steady voice sent a chill through Huo Wushuang and Feng Xiaotian. Wang Sheng's tone shifted to serious. Stop joking. Go on. Senior brother Xiao's strength is high right now. This is a good chance to test yourselves. Maybe the teacher's watching. Your performance could help decide the cultivation path the teacher assigns you later. Wang Sheng's concern for his juniors was natural. Huo Wu's strength was already clear from her match with Shui Yuer, but Huo Wushuang and Feng Xiaoqian hadn't shown themselves yet. Encouraged, they squared off, cupped fists in salute. Then we apologize for the offense, Senior Brother Xiao. Huo Wushuang, level 54 Battle Spirit King, Spirit Unicorn Tyrannosaurus. Feng Xiaoqian, level 59 Battle Spirit King, Spirit Storm Devil Wolf. They adopted aggressive stances and attached their spirits. The standard spirit ring configurations appeared at their feet: yellow, yellow, purple, purple, black. Xiao Chenyu smiled but did not display a full ring formation. He only settled into the hungry wolf fist stance. Fierce, blood-red-gray wolf spirit rings flickered behind him. Come. Second spirit ability, blazing incandescence. First spirit ability, wind blade array. Huo Wushuang and Feng Xiaotian attacked from left and right, opening with long-range spirit abilities. A scorching blaze and 10 crescent wind blades racing at Xiao. His footwork was lightning fast. He slipped through gaps and cleverly used the wind blade's airflow to blow the fire back. That nimble evasion came from training under Wang Sheng's brutal fist winds. Though Xiao could regenerate quickly, standing and taking hits was foolish. Regeneration didn't mean he didn't feel pain or that he was immortal. It only meant his health bar recovered faster. Feng Xiaoqian and Huo Wushuang weren't reckless. After launching their abilities, they didn't stand frozen. They immediately activated their beast spirit body strengthening skills, taking on wolf and dragon-enhanced forms to strike the gray wolf from both sides. Good timing, Wang Sheng called. Then Huo Wushuang's and Feng Xiaotian's eyes widened. Between the knuckles of senior brother Xiao's fists, soft hisses sounded as 4 gleaming steel claws, bloody and merciless, shot out like a wolf's fangs. They lunged for Feng Xiaoqian and Huo Wushuang, tearing and rending with terrifying speed. Even with their body enhancements, both were driven back. Junior brothers, don't run. We're both wolf-type spirits. Be brutal to senior brother. Be brutal to senior brother. Come and endure senior brother's impact of love. Xiao Chenyu chuckled. He was a fighter who grew more excited the harder he was struck. Huo Wushuang and Feng Xiaoqian only grew more alarmed. They discovered that senior brother Xiao's physical body was unnaturally strong, far beyond the typical Spirit King physique, and even challenging those of Spirit Emperors. Could senior brother Xiao be a Spirit Saint? Feng Xiaoqian, help me! Third spirit ability, Tyrannosaurus's Rage. Fourth spirit ability, Skyfire Dragon Breath. Huo Wushuang unleashed 2 abilities in quick succession. 2 unicorn tyrannosaurs condensed between his palms. One tore out to charge, the other spewed a torrent of dragonfire. Feng Xiaoqian responded with a burst of green light that formed a countless array of razor-like wind blades, swirling into a dazzling tornado that caught the blazing dragonfire and hurled it outward. Huo Wushuang's dragonfire, already vast, was split and carried by Feng's wind blade tornado. The whole training ground filled with melting heat. Ordinary plants would wither, yet the surrounding peach blossoms survived the inferno. Worse, the flames carried Huo Wushuang's fire element properties. Contact meant explosive effect. Oh, interesting, Xiao murmured. With no room to retreat, he didn't retreat. He grinned. Junior brothers, come on! Tear senior brother apart. Senior brother's coming. Wolf patterns spread over his body, and he charged straight into the fire tornado. The wind blades shredded his flesh, and everyone, Feng Xiaoqian, Huo Wushuang, and even Huo Wu, who'd come to watch, stared in horror as Xiao took blow after blow. But each wound healed visibly and astonishingly fast. Charred flesh regrew, tears closed, skin smoothed. When he broke out of the inferno, He reeked of burnt hair and scorched flesh, his skin ragged, but he moved freely. Within seconds, layers of skin peeled away, and the new layer underneath remained intact. Junior brothers, getting distracted in battle is a big taboo. Don't give up resistance just because an enemy's abilities are unbelievable, Xiao warned. Before they'd fully recovered from watching his regeneration, Xiao had already activated his rushing wolf ability. In an instant, he flashed behind them, his large hands like wolf fangs clamped on their shoulders, leaving them no chance to react. If it had been a chokehold, they might have died. Xiao, senior brother Xiao, what kind of physique is this? This is terrifying. Huo Wushuang stared at him with nothing but awe. This performance outshone even the Taoyuan student in the Soul Master competition a few years ago. Feng Xiaoqian stammered, humbled. Everyone calls me a genius spirit master, the son of Qifeng, a wind prodigy rarely seen in 100 years at Divine Wind Academy. Compared to senior brother Xiao and senior brother Wang Sheng, I'm ashamed. If even Xiao, who was so strong, couldn't beat Wang Sheng, how powerful must Wang Sheng be? No wonder Taoyuan Academy could contend with 10,000 armies. It had reason for its reputation. Xiao's large hand loosened, then patted their shoulders. This isn't only my physique, it's the teacher's powerful instruction. Don't be discouraged. After joining Taoyuan Academy, one day, you'll be very strong too. You may not believe it, but when I enrolled, I was only level 19 spirit power. Back then, I sat at the far end of the audience watching others shine without even a chance to register for competitions. It was the teacher who changed my life. I, Xiao Chenyu, am lucky to have met the best teacher on the continent and the best adopted senior brother. Rank 19. The Soul Master competition from 4 or 5 years ago? I remember now. Senior Apprentice Xiao was the youth Tang San ignored back then. When Xiao Chenyu mentioned that old match, Huo Wu, who had been watching with Huo Wushuang, stared for a long moment, then stepped forward to study the senior more closely. Her memory of the event was fuzzy. She'd only seen him as an opponent at the time, but she'd followed Taoyuan Academy and the Heaven Do royal team enough to remember fragments. The closer she looked, the more familiar Senior Apprentice Xiao's features seemed, and yet he had clearly changed. After a few years at Taoyuan Academy, Xiao Chenyu had grown sharper, sturdier. "That's right, it's me," Xiao Chenyu said with a faint smile. "Young Sister Huo seems to remember your senior apprentice Xiao well," Wang Sheng observed. Xiao Chenyu looked surprised that Huo Wu could recall the match. Back then, senior apprentice Xiao was only rank 19, but now he's fighting like an old wolf picking off lambs. How is this possible? In less than 5 years, he's raised his rank by more than 40 levels. Hiss. That's an average of 8 ranks per year. Is he even human? Where's the justice in that? Huo Wu, Huo Wushuang, and Feng Xiaoqian were thunderstruck when they learned Xiao Chenyu's Spirit Master rank before entering the academy. Spirit power is hard to raise. An ordinary Spirit Master who gains a rank a year is already excellent. 2 or 3 ranks a year marks a genius. But this heaven-defying senior had averaged 8 ranks a year. 8 ranks. It was almost beyond comprehension. "Junior brothers, junior sister Huo, don't be too shocked," Xiao Chenyu said with a playful shrug. "I, your senior Xiao, not only have strong self-healing, but the cultivation technique I practice is a bit special. I get stronger the more I take a beating. Want to learn it? Junior brother Feng, your spirit seems very compatible. How about we train together and beat each other up every day?" Xiao Chenyu glanced at Feng Xiaoqian. Feng's mouth twitched, tempted but wary. "I'm afraid of being beaten to death." When they thought about it, senior apprentice Xiao's transformation suddenly made sense. He'd deliberately taken dangerous blows head-on, wind blades slashing his flesh, explosive fire searing his body, enduring injuries that would have broken ordinary people, using the damage to grow stronger. At that moment, a clear voice carried from the direction of the academy, soft as a spring breeze among the peach blossoms. "All right, you've made your commotion. Huo Wu, Feng Xiaoqian, Huo Wushuang, come to the academy. Teacher has a cultivation technique to impart." The voice faded, but its echo lingered. Xiao Chenyu and Wang Sheng immediately sobered and cupped their hands in salute toward the academy. "Yes, teacher, we will now escort the junior brothers and junior sister to the academy. Junior sister Huo, junior brother Feng, Junior brother Huo, congratulations. It seems teacher has already prepared heaven-defying cultivation techniques for you. Perhaps you'll soon be able to match Xiao Laoda's strength. Please come this way, Wang Sheng said, guiding Huo Wushuang, and Feng Xiaoqian down the peach blossom lane. The three felt a surge of anticipation. They were already familiar with Taoyuan Academy's notable faces, Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing, Du Guyan, and the newest, Shui Yuer, Xiao Chenyu. Each left a strong impression. The indestructible Ning Rongrong, the poisonous Du Guyan, the tidal force Shui Yuer, and the unkillable by beating Xiao Chenyu. What changes would the Academy's teachings bring? 100 paces ahead is the Academy. Teacher will be instructing, so we won't disturb you further. Junior sister Wu Shuang, junior brother Xiaoqian, you may proceed alone. Wang Sheng escorted them to the far end of the Peach Blossom Road and stopped, watching the three as they moved toward Taoyuan Academy. Curious and excited about the heaven-defying technique awaiting them, Huo Wushuang, and Feng Xiaoqian approached the academy. Huo Wu greets teacher. Wushuang greets teacher. Feng Xiaoqian greets teacher. At a white jade stone table beneath the peach trees, Teacher Su Ran sat as if part of the wood and blossoms themselves, calm, serene, almost otherworldly. He inclined his head when the three bowed and asked kindly, "You've only enrolled today. Taoyuan Academy's atmosphere is different from your previous schools. Are you comfortable here?" Huo Wu answered eagerly, "It's wonderful. The peach blossom scent is everywhere, as if teacher is right beside us. It's beautiful." Su Ran smiled. Taoyuan Academy differs from the Blazing and Divine Wind Academies. We don't emphasize grand architecture, just simple green brick and jade tiles, wooden fences, and long pavilions nestled in the peach grove. It's like a peach garden beyond the mortal world. Many people find it beautiful. At his cue, Feng Xiaoqian and Huo Wushuang sat among the flowers. "Good that you've settled in," he said. "I'll be frank, I called you here to teach you something." He looked at them with calm eyes. "I already know your general circumstances. I must ask, do you know why you want to study martial arts? Why you want to grow stronger?" Suran's face was strikingly handsome in the soft light. Huo Wu's heart always fluttered when she looked at him, and she couldn't keep from thinking, "My teacher is truly beautiful. The Peach Garden Immortal's presence makes my heart race." "Teacher, does becoming stronger need a reason? Being strong is just enjoyable, just happy. I'm happy, my parents are happy, the academy is happy, everyone's happy." Huo Wushuang declared with a bright laugh. Huo gave him a disdainful look. "Brother, you're so silly, always spouting nonsense." "Teacher, I want to be strong so I can be my parents' pride and the academy's honor, to stand on my own and make a name for fire-type spirit masters," Huo Wu said passionately. Suran smiled faintly. Both children showed the impulsive, straightforward spirit common to fire-type masters. Troublesome, yes, but endearing too. "Huo Wu, your brother's answer shows his openness and freedom. That attitude is a kind of realm worthy of praise, not foolishness." Huo Wushuang beamed at the praise. "Xiao Wu, see, teacher praised me. How is your brother foolish? Teacher is fair." Huo Wu couldn't resist and blurted out a humiliating anecdote. "When my brother was at Blazing Academy, he liked a girl. To get her attention, he set off fireworks during a festival, only he accidentally set her clothes on fire. Isn't that foolish?" Huo Wushuang's smile vanished. "Xiao Wu, are you trying to ruin me?" "Blech, Xiaoqian, what about you? Why are you silent?" Huo Wushuang asked, changing the subject. Feng Xiaotian inhaled deeply. "I've been thinking about teacher's question. I don't think I know why I want to become stronger." A shadow crossed his face. "Since awakening, my innate spirit power has always been ahead. I was praised as a top genius. My father praised me, my classmates looked to me. I just followed the tide and became who I am. I don't really have a life goal. Teacher, I'm afraid I'm useless. Maybe I don't even have a reason to be strong." Feng Xiaotian's voice trembled, the sorrow of a genius who never had to struggle wrapped around him. Hearing that, Huo Wushuang's mouth twitched. This boy truly hadn't the slightest inkling of what hunger felt like. Suran chuckled, amused by his three spirited students. "No matter what your personal reasons are for seeking strength, since you are my disciples, one responsibility must be included: to establish yourself, serve the country and the people, and serve the academy." After the great battle in Soto City, Suran felt it necessary to impress upon his disciples that power brings responsibilities. Those words, establish yourself, serve the country and the people, made Huo Wushuang and Feng Xiaoqian's hearts stir. It was part of Taoyuan Academy's moral code, but as new students, they needed to hear it from their teacher. Then Suran said the most important thing that had brought them together that day. All disciples of my peach garden cultivate unique heaven-defying techniques. Tell me, what do you wish to learn? As your teacher, I will tailor the instruction to each of you. Chapter 277, Imparting the Wind God Leg. Why was teacher struck by lightning? Wow, can students choose for themselves? Someone called out. Then I want to learn the most powerful cultivation technique. I want to become far stronger than Shui Yuer and Shui Binger, even surpass my brother's unique skills, another voice cried. Huo Wu, if I learn this, I'll be teacher's strongest disciple, Huo Wu said eagerly, meeting teacher Suran's clear eyes. Xiao Wu, you're too competitive. How can that be? Huo Wushuang replied quickly. My standards are much lower. If teacher can make me number 1 in fire type, I'll be satisfied. Feng Xiaochan glanced at the two siblings with a faint twitch of amusement. They really didn't waste time fighting for first place. He stepped forward and said, Teacher, I want to learn the essence of the wind element. I want to truly experience wind power and push my storm devil wolf to its limit. Suran considered him, pleased. Feng Xiaoqin wasn't as loud in his ambition as Huo Wu, but his answer showed a practical understanding. Suran's earlier lecture about wind speed and wind pressure had been novel to him. Feng Xiaoqian's path as a spirit master had always emphasized wind's offensive capabilities, the gale slash. He understood attack, but only partly grasped wind's auxiliary uses. That made his comprehension valuable. When I take disciples, there's always a custom, Suran said. New disciples first learn one cultivation technique and one basic boxing leg technique. Today, I will teach an ultimate wind element cultivation technique and a leg technique. Are you willing? Feng Xiaoqian bowed. Whatever you teach, I will learn. I believe in your instruction. Suran rose and teleported to the center of the peach blossom clearing. Feng Xiaoqian, the leg technique I will pass down is a top-tier wind element art, Wind God Leg. It consists of 7 moves across 3 stages. The first stage, Mortal Realm, is the basic leg cultivation. It surpasses ordinary Spirit Master leg techniques but can't utterly crush a well-matched opponent. The second, Desperate Realm, lets one unleash the latent power of Wind God Leg, greatly amplifying wind element energy. Attacks become hard to parry and can break mountains and split rivers. The third stage, Wind God Leg proper, allows mastery of its full power, deifying the gale. Destroying cities and rending the sky becomes effortless. As he spoke, Suran's legs shone with a cyan gold light as he began to demonstrate the movements. First move, catching wind and chasing shadows. A light body leg technique that uses wind pressure to accelerate, integrating wind power to fly unimpeded, almost invisible, like a meteor. Second move, strong grass in the wind. Strong grass bends in the fiercest wind but keeps growing, breaking through cold winds to question the heavens. This move borrows wind power to defeat enemies. Each strike builds upon the last. A single blow can fell an opponent. Suran moved among the peach blossoms with peerless grace, barely more than a blur. Every step carried the force of heaven and earth wind. Then a leg strike shot out like a blade of air, shaking the peach trees along its path. Petals and branches were swept aside for hundreds of meters. Before Huo Wu and Huo Wuhuang could react, Su leapt and delivered the third move. Third move, gusts and torrents. Leg strikes fall like heavy rain. The momentum is like a gale, multiple precise strikes, overwhelming in firepower. At great accomplishment, this can shatter mountains. Fourth move, wind sweeping the clouds. Fifth move, divine wind howl. He executed the fourth and fifth in succession. The fourth used wind's focused force to control and damage a wide area. The fifth pushed the element to a terrifying extreme, a golden wind god leg strike that sent peach blossoms fluttering down and gathered power in the clouds, dispersing the mist. After demonstrating 5 moves, Suran paused. The last 2 moves are the strongest in wind god leg, he warned. Their power is limitless if used, but their danger is high, and they are extremely difficult to comprehend. Watch closely. Even grasping a little now will help later. If you don't understand something, ask. Feng Xiaoqian was already astonished by the 5 moves. They seemed to surpass his Gale Slash. If the last 2 were even more powerful, if Teacher Su elevated them with such caution, what heights of strength were they? 6th move, swift as thunder, fast as wind. At that word, the clear sky darkened. A sudden gale swept in, rolling black clouds gathering above. Huowu Shuang and Huowu assumed the technique's power had called the weather, but the students' murmurs turned to alarm as Su Ran stepped up into the swirling clouds. A blaze of lightning flashed, and a bolt struck Su Ran with a deafening crack. "Teacher!" several students cried out. "Teacher was hit by lightning?" Someone else blurted. "That can't be right. Teacher's always been upright. Why would lightning strike him?" "Well, he does have a few questionable habits," another student teased, "like stealing hearts and leaving people lonely. Maybe the heavens are angry." Shu Yuer, watching Su Ran draw lightning into the technique, couldn't resist shouting, "If you survive, teacher, remember to make amends and let me be your second wife. Then you won't get struck anymore." Thunder rolled as Su Ran unleashed the 6th move. He harnessed lightning and wind together. The leg strike cut through the darkness with howling wind and brilliant light. When it landed, the entire peach garden seemed crushed by the ensuing pressure. A wind-legged stomp, laden with heaven's thunder, struck the ground, scorching earth and leaving a huge pit. 7th move, heaven and earth united, wind breaking the universe. Before the students could recover from the 6th move's ferocity, Su Ran combined every flowing wind from the earth, mountains, forests, cities, and the sky's fierce winds into a single strike. With one kick, he dared not aim at the ground, but at the 9 heavens. That massive wind imprint scattered the lightning and the clouds like dust. It seemed to punch a hole in the sky and drift outward into space. The imprint lingered long, unable to dissipate. When Su Ran finally landed, Huowu Shuang, and Feng Xiaoqian stood with mouths agape, stunned by the scale of what they'd witnessed. Even the power of a limit Douluo was hardly more than this, they thought. "Xiaotian, how many layers have you comprehended?" Su Ran asked, brushing his sleeve. Feng Xiaotian felt ashamed. He had always thought his family were wind heroes, unmatched on the continent. But faced with Wind Godleg, Su Ran was clearly the unrivaled master. "Teacher, I'm ashamed to say it. With my current ability, I can only start from the first stage. The higher moves are impossible for me now." "It's all right," Su Ran said kindly. "The beginning is always hard. A solid foundation makes later cultivation easier." He didn't pressure Feng Xiaotian. Willingness and diligence mattered more than natural talent. Most new disciples began this way. To master the higher realms, you must cultivate alongside a compatible cultivation technique to experience heaven and earth wind and merge with nature. This wind technique resembles the subduing waves technique Yuer learned. Both pursue ultimate control and comprehension of a single element. The cultivation method I mentioned is called the Great Desolate Wind Earl Technique. Su Ran's fingertip tapped Feng Xiaoqian's forehead, transmitting the core truths of Wind God Leg and the Great Desolate Wind Earl Technique into his mind. Images and sensations of what these techniques looked like at great accomplishment flashed through Feng Xiaoqian's vision. He stood dazed and unsteady, his mind buzzing with visions he could barely grasp. Chapter 278, Fire Fission and Fire Fusion. "Feng Xiaoqian, he's gone numb. Teacher, what about my brother and me? I don't want to be first anymore. If only I could learn a divine ultimate skill like Feng Xiaoqian's. Teacher." Having witnessed the power of Wind God Leg and having received the Wind God Leg and Great Desolate Wind Eagle arts from Su Ran, Feng Xiaoqian sat cross-legged, already lost in comprehension. Huowu's heart pounded. She looked at Su Ran with pleading, hopeful eyes. With this divine ability from teacher, even if she didn't top the class, she could still become the strongest spirit master at the academy. Becoming the best at Blazing Academy would be a breeze, truly worthy of being the continent's #1 spirit master academy. "What? You changed your mind so fast? One moment you want to be first, the next you don't?" Seeing the longing in Huowu's face, Su Ran couldn't resist teasing her and put on a mock serious tone. "Students of Peach Garden Academy aren't fickle or weak-willed. If you have that mindset, I won't teach you." At those words, Huowu and Huowu Shuang panicked. When their father sent them off, He'd ordered them to study hard and never anger their teacher. It was only their first day, and now teacher didn't want to teach them at all. How could that be? Thump. Teacher. Teacher, I was wrong. I still want to be first. I was just afraid you'd think I was arrogant and unteachable. It's not that I don't want to be first. I want to be first slowly, step by step, with a plan. A true champion, no, a true woman of will, could change tactics. Why rush? Huowu dropped to her knees and grabbed Suran's hand, squeezing it like a spoiled child. When did this fiery girl learn such a trick from you? She was even acting cute. Suran felt a mild headache. Holding a peach blossom branch in one hand, he helped both siblings to their feet. All right. I was only joking. If you're capable of becoming the Academy's strongest, I'd be glad to teach you. He appraised them with a cool look. Both of your spirits are excellent among fire types, but they're opposites. One is gentle yet resolute, with hidden fire mixed in. The other is outwardly hard, but inwardly soft, exploding with force. I have a technique. Would you be willing to learn it? Suran's eyes carried weight. The ultimate skills he had just taught Feng Xiaoqian were top-tier techniques he'd pulled from the system. What he intended for Huowu and Huowu Shuang, however, were self-created methods, cultivation techniques born from his integration of a certain terrifying modern scientific theory. He wanted to see where that path led. Teacher's technique? Huowu blurted. Of course we're willing to learn. Huowu blushed. Why was teacher so direct? She wasn't ready, and her brother was right there. It's a technique. I know, it's a technical technique. Huowu Shuang, simple-minded as always, bowed his head eagerly. Please, teacher, teach us. Suran looked at Huowu with mock severity. Incorrigible. Huowu pouted. Teacher, your words were ambiguous, and now you blame me? Woo. If you can master this technique, there might truly be hope for you to become Peach Garden's strongest students. Suran's voice deepened as he leaned against the peach grove. Huowu Shuang and Huowu's eyes lit up. There really might be a chance to be the strongest at Peach Garden? Really? If we learn it, can we break Senior Sister Rongrong's golden bell cover? Huowu Shuang asked. We could blast that girl until there's nothing left of her, Huowu declared. And could we stop Junior Sister Zhu Qing's movement technique? Don't worry, that girl won't be able to escape the damage zone. We'll cripple her legs. Can we be immune to Senior Sister Yan's poison? Her venom drives people mad. That's even easier. Little Six's poison wouldn't affect us at all. Fire is extremely yang, while poison is yin and cold. It'll neutralize the poison completely. What about Senior Sister Xiao Wu? Her Tai Chi yin and yang hand can deflect tonnage with a flick. She even pushed away my fire dance blazing sun. The Tai Chi hand has limits. We can break her hand directly. What? That's strong. Teacher, what kind of ultimate technique is this? I want to learn it. Teach me. This is the technique I've been searching for 5 years. Huowu gushed, eyes glittering. It can break Rongrong's shield, stop Zhu Qing from running, extinguish Yan's poison, and Xiao Wu can't counter it. This is the divine technique I've pined for 5 years. 5 years? Teacher, do you know how I've spent those 5 years? Huowu Shuang wailed with exaggerated drama. The one who tied the bell must untie it. The spear that breaks the shield is finally known to the shield bearer. It seems the origin of everything is back in Peach Garden with teacher. I love you, teacher. Just teach me. Hearing teacher's hint, Huo was ravenous to learn. If Rongrong, Xiao Wu, and the others ever heard this, they'd be furious. Teacher, you have such a great method, but you won't teach us and keep it for the juniors? Bad teacher. You'll have to wash our underwear as punishment. Do you really want to learn? Suran asked. Yes, we really want to learn. It might be very difficult, harder than what Xiao Tian learned. Even if there are 1,000 dangers, we'll charge ahead with our blades drawn. Good, very good. Suran was pleased with their attitude and began. Have you heard about an explosion a while back, 200 li outside Heaven Do City? One day a violent roar rose, and a mushroom cloud lingered in the sky for a long time. I heard about it, Huo Shuang said. Spirit Masters went to investigate. The area was a ruin, completely barren. The bombing power was terrifying, unprecedented. They only found some clear sky sect insignia and banners. Almost no one survived. Was that teacher's doing? You could say that, Suran nodded. Do you know how that explosive force was produced? We don't know, both Huo Wu and Huo Wushuang admitted. Even a limit Douluo would have trouble producing that much instantaneous power, right? There ought to have been traces of battle, blood, survivors. But the scene looked like the explosion came from the sky, sudden, unexpected, indefensible. It was a nuclear bomb, but it was the simplest kind. It's what Iran has been pestering me to make these past few days. Nuclear bomb? The siblings' faces changed. Yes. The basic principle of a nuclear bomb is nuclear fission, releasing energy by splitting atoms. That might be hard to understand. Put simply, particles of an element are struck by special high-energy particles, causing a rapid cascade of splits, high-frequency, continuous, and explosive. The energy released in an instant can surpass all known limits. That is fission. Conversely, there is fusion, which compresses and reorganizes particles to release even greater energy. Huo Wu Shuang, Huo Wu, what I intend to teach you is fire fission and fire fusion. Once mastered, the power is terrifying, but the cultivation process is extremely dangerous. Are you interested? 279, Unlimited Skills. Chapter 279, A Peerless Grade Technique with No Upper Limit. In the eyes of many, fire elements are simply the flames and light that come from burning. In reality, on the Douluo Continent, fire elements are primitive, diffuse particles that naturally exist in the world, carrying scorching energy that warms the earth and mountains. Look at the sun. Complex reactions happen on it. No one can fully probe all of its energy dispersions and convergences, nuclear fusion, nuclear fission, and analogously, fire fission and fire fusion. When a star dies, it emits its last light and heat, constantly consuming energy, fusing, fissioning, fusing until its energy vanishes from the heavens and earth. It grows incredibly dark, its mass concentrates, and it drags surrounding space into collapse. Even light cannot escape. Of course, that's digressing. What we'll study and practice today are only fire fission and fire fusion. If you can master these two, perhaps you too can emit your own light and heat like the sun. At Taoyuan Academy, Suran was lecturing Huo Wu and Huo Wushuang. The ideas were still too profound for the two young Douluo. After listening, Huo Wu only retained a few words: fire fusion, fire fission, and if mastered, as mighty as the sun. Wait, does that mean my Huo Wu illuminates the sun, could actually smash people with the sun? The thought came slowly, and she pictured herself in the clouds, gripping a dazzling sun and smashing it down, thrilling beyond words. Watch closely. These are fire element particles. These are the neutral ions that make up fire element particles. All you need to do is precisely strip away a single neutral ion from a fire particle, then use that ion to strike other fire particles. And then, before Suran finished, a flash of fire erupted across the open ground in front of the classroom with an earth-shattering roar. Waves of heat rolled over them. For a moment their vision whitened. When sight returned, the earth before them was scorched black. Some nearby peach blossom trees had withered, and a small fiery cloud drifted up into the air. The teacher had only casually manipulated some fire particles, and such power had erupted? It was unbelievable. Suran stepped forward through the heat haze, coughing, and asked, "Wushuang, did you understand what I just did?" Huo Wushuang stood stunned and shook his head hard. "I barely understood anything." Suran sighed inwardly. He had expected too much. This was indeed an extremely difficult technique. It's all right. Fire fission takes time to master. You'll need many attempts, and the explosive effect tied to your spirit is actually a macroscopic form of fire fission, not a simple flame attack. So it can bypass what people call fire immunity. I believe you can develop this direction further. Fire fission begins with stripping away that first fire ion to accelerate and scatter other fire particles. That's the entry point, but there's no upper limit. Learning how to mobilize the most fire ions at the fastest speed to bombard the most fire particles and release greater power requires endless exploration. Do you have the courage to keep learning? Suran looked at Huo Wushuang with gravity. Wushuang drew a breath. "Teacher, I'll learn it. Please teach me." He hadn't realized how valuable the 4 words, "no upper limit," were. Just casually colliding a few fire particles had produced that much force. If he could collide thousands or tens of thousands, wouldn't that power level climb until it could flatten a mountain? Suran handed Wushuang the blueprint and cultivation method for fire fission and taught him a suitable martial art, the ascending dragon fist. Seeing her brother receive a peerless grade cultivation technique in a martial art, Huowu stomped impatiently with both feet. Teacher, what about me? My brother's fire fission is so strong. I'm a fire spirit master too. Should I learn fire fission? No, you will learn fire fusion. Which is stronger, fire fission or fire fusion? Fire fusion is stronger, but it's also much harder. Do you have confidence? Yes, I do. How do I learn fire fusion? Huowu's eyes sparkled. She genuinely wanted to learn. The terms Suran used were unheard of on the continent. They sounded novel and powerful. Fire fusion and fire fission are opposite principles. Fission disperses and scatters fire particles to release energy. Fusion compresses and fuses fire particles to generate energy. Suran explained the principle to Huowu. She puzzled, touching her head. Teacher, I don't get it. How can dispersing fire particles release energy and compressing them also release energy? Shouldn't compression use energy? Yes, compression requires energy, and a lot of it. The energy you apply must be very even and uniform. That tests your control over fire energy. He paused, then added a fundamental idea: conservation of energy. The force you use to compress doesn't vanish. It transforms into the entanglement and fusion energy of the fire particles. But when nuclei fuse and strong attractive forces form, the total mass decreases. That lost mass converts into an explosive release of energy. When you reach a critical point, the compression you applied will erupt as well, producing a multiplying effect. Think of this lump of soil. When I compress it small enough, reach a critical density, it suddenly shoots out from between my fingers. Suran pinched a clump of dirt from the ground and squeezed it in his slender fingers, vividly demonstrating a compressed state. The analogy wasn't perfect, but it helped Huowu grasp the idea. So my Huowu illuminates the sun isn't about being bigger, but being smaller? If I compress it uniformly, make it small enough until I can't hold it, it will suddenly rebound and release far more power than if I just let it go. You can understand it that way for now to strengthen the impression. Suran looked at Huowu in surprise. He hadn't expected the girl to take it in so quickly. He handed her the blueprint and cultivation guide for fire fusion and said, "Remember, if either of you gain initial insight into fire fusion or fire fission, you must tell me first. Their power is immense and hard to control. You'll need to train in an uninhabited desert to avoid harming innocents and destroying settlements. Understand? Understood?" Huowu and Huowushuang clutched their respective manuals for fire fusion and fire fission, hearts pounding. At the moment, they only had a sense that they were learning something extraordinary. Years later, they would truly understand. What they had been given were super peerless grade techniques, capable of a single person destroying a nation, overturning half the human world, even bursting stars. Merely possessing such techniques would be a terrifying deterrent. I've already handed you the fire fusion manual, so now I'll teach you another boxing style. Watch closely, Wooer. This punch is called Fire Cloud Fist. Chapter 280, Princess Shuikei's Act of Contrition. A gentle breeze stirred the peach blossoms. It had been more than a week since the first lessons with the three new disciples, Huowu, Huowushuang, and Feng Xiaodian. The trio were settling into the rhythm of Taoyuan Academy. Their cultivation was making steady progress. The academy itself had mostly recovered, and so Soto City was slowly returning to normal after the devastation of the Great Battle. The shadow of that conflict was finally lifting. The Taoyuan Republic's jurisdiction had been established and new systems were being put into place. The Supreme Pontiff Palace had taken full control of the Star Luo Empire. Bibi Dong, drawing on Teacher Su's methods, had found a second spring in her career. She transplanted a parliamentary system to Star Luo, replacing the old imperial structure. In the Heaven Do Empire, Emperor Shuoye had aged overnight. Streaks of white ran through his hair, and he looked several years older, sullen and restless, contemplating abdication. His dilemma was the question of succession. Shui Beng, the emperor's only son, was the obvious heir by blood, but he'd been rejected by Taoyuan Academy and was a difficult, headstrong youth. In more peaceful times, Shuoye might have been able to train him, but after the Soto City battle, the empire could not afford mistakes. Ning Rongrong, the senior sister of Taoyuan Academy and now the head of the 7 treasure glazed tile school, had personally led a forcible palace takeover, demanding control of the army and inspecting the treasury as if Heaven Do were a defeated vassal. No one dared resist. The Star Luo example loomed large, 50,000 troops annihilated and the empire reduced to a puppet state. The thought terrified Shui Ye. If Shui Beng ascended and came into conflict with Taoyuan, the Heaven Do Empire might follow Star Luo's fate, something he could not bear. There was another choice, Princess Shui Ke. Unlike Shui Beng, Shui Ke had been accepted by Taoyuan Academy. During the battle, Shui Ke had refused an order to return to the palace. Instead, she organized relief in other cities, directing officials to send aid to Soto City, set up shelters, and rescue refugees. Her actions saved lives and salvaged some of the royal family's reputation. The students at Taoyuan praised her. Without her intervention, the Shui clan might have faced catastrophe. From the palace tower, Shui Ye watched Taoyuan and sighed, bitterly aware of what might have been. If only care were a son, he muttered, then the empire could act freely, not be hemmed in and helpless. Back at Taoyuan Academy, Shui Ke had resolved on a different path. Standing with a small, determined figure, she picked up a bundle of sharp, thorny branches and tied them to her back. The thorns pierced her palms and shoulders. Blood welled and trickled down. The princess, who had never known hardship, winced but did not cry out. Her brows furrowed in pain, but she forced herself to walk toward the academy. Tang Yuehua's emotions churned when she saw Shui Ke's resolve. Ashamed and moved, the pavilion master gathered a bundle of thorns for herself and shouldered them too, accompanying the princess toward the red maple classroom. Wang Sheng watched them go but did not stop them. Shui Ke knelt at the entrance to red maple classroom, careful to avoid blocking passage. As she knelt, the thorns pressed deeper. She clenched her teeth against the pain. "Teacher, students of Taoyuan," she said, voice steady though strained, "I am Princess Shui Ke. I have come to atone for sins. Heaven Do failed the people of Soto City, failed Taoyuan Academy, and betrayed Teacher Su's trust." A few students were in the classroom that morning, Yao Zi and the Mu sisters among them. They had accompanied Shui Ke to audit classes over the last 2 years. Seeing her small, bloodied hands and the thorn bundles spiking her back, their hearts ached. "Sister Shui Ke, this is in the past. It wasn't your fault," Mu Yunteng protested. "You can't decide to punish yourself like this. The teachers won't blame you. They welcomed you to the academy." Shui Ke shook her head. "If you know you are wrong, you must correct it, accept responsibility, and accept punishment. My father and the court were at fault for the Soto City disaster. As a member of the royal family, I should set the example. If Teacher Su does not punish me, I will not have the courage to face everyone at the academy." She knelt in silence after that, refusing to rise. Tang Yuehua spoke up in a low voice. "I kneel on behalf of my eldest and second brothers and to atone for the innocent who died in Soto City." A day and a night passed. The following morning, the sky turned dark and a hard rain fell, fat drops hammering the academy's stone paths. Huowu hurried by and used her small flames to push away the chill from Shui Ke. "Princess Shui Ke, go back," she urged. "It's pouring. You'll catch a chill if you stay out here. Come to my dorm. I'll warm you with the elementary fire technique I just learned." Huowu Shuang grinned and teased. "Huowu, don't talk nonsense. You haven't even reached the threshold of fire fusion. Where did you get this fusion fireball? Try my explosive fission. It'll keep you warm all day." She held 2 umbrellas, sheltering Shui Ke and Tang Yuehua from the rain. Then, through the downpour, a small white rabbit hopped up, tilted its head, and with an oddly courtly chirp, announced, "Sister Shui Ke, Teacher Tang, Teacher Su has summoned you."